Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host. The y'all mean of revolution, and the Democrats are panicking. They're in shambles. They don't know what to do. It's all bad news from here. Before we get into that, be sure to wipe your feet. That means hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. Let everybody know Cool Figures live. Better late than never. We got a late night live. I've been taking care of some business, but I owe it to y'all to make sure y'all get y'all daily dose of geopolitical and news that's going on here in the homeland. So let's get right into it. Kamala is losing in the polls with black voters. She's still up, but it's horribly low. She's behind Biden and Hillary. I thought that she had energized black voters. Now we know that was a lie.
What if I told you that the Democratic Party is losing black voters?
This is very humiliating.
What if I told you that the self-proclaimed and described black female candidate, at least that's what the Democratic Party has been running with Kamala, running on her identity.
This is very humiliating.
What if I told you that she is losing black voters? Ladies and gentlemen.
How could that be?
You may not believe it. I'm shocked they covered this on MSNBC, but we got to get into this, and then I'm going to show you why. I'm going to tell you why it's happening. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
New poll numbers for a key Democratic constituency could shed light on Kamala Harris's bid for the White House. A new NAACP poll finds more than 1/4 of younger black men say they will support Donald Trump in November. That is consistent with surveys during Joe Biden's time in office.
It's over for them.
Showing some younger black voters and black men of all ages having lost faith in the Democratic Party.
1 in 4 U.S. black men under 50 support Donald Trump for president. This is
done with the Democrats. Finito, finished. And they understand it's over for them. No more Boule speaking for us. The Boule been lying, telling them, no, that's not real. They remember the Boule keep coming on TV saying, I haven't ran into any black people vote for Trump. Well, now MSNBC is so shocked they have to report the truth.
It's coming from a poll from the NAACP.
Joining me now is NAACP President and CEO Derek Johnson. Good to see you again, Derek. So let me note here, this poll was conducted last month. It was before both the DNC and the presidential debate. It only surveyed 12 states. Having said that, overall, black voters plan to support Harris. Only 13% say they support Trump. But the difference among black men is stark.
Let me pause here. Notice how she said only 13% say they support Trump. That's still quite a bit for a Republican. Remember, that's just black men. That's not, and they said 12 states. That's just black men. That's not including black women, right? Or 13% say they support Donald Trump. Like, considering that Donald Trump was already president and he lost re-election to Joe Biden, shouldn't that number trend in the opposite direction? Shouldn't Donald Trump be losing black voter support? But that's not what's happening.
77% of black men above age 50 saying they support Harris, yet only 26% under 50 say they do. The surveys also found messaging emphasizing rights being under attack, that is most likely to motivate younger black men. So give me a sense of what is behind this, and even more, what can be done about it.
Well, first of all, the enthusiasm in the African-American community around this election rivals that of 2008. In fact, we are seeing an increase in enthusiasm. The opportunity is for...
That's what got them into this. Liars like him telling them, oh, yes, the black people, they're very enthusiastic, just like they was in 2008 with Obama. Not for Kamala, they not. You've been lying to them people. They're going to confront you. What are you talking about, brother? The poll's not saying that.
For the campaigns to talk to young and African-American male voters. That's an opportunity for them to understand the value of their vote. And also to show how their vote can begin to address some additional systemic changes. The challenges that many African Americans face or see is around racism, structural barriers, particularly when it comes to law enforcement.
See, scammer. We ain't actually talk to these people about no law enforcement. We told you we need our anti-black hate bill. We need our lineage-based reparations. That's what a lot of people, blacks, are saying around in there. What the hell are you talking about? See, the same old scam. Oh, we're gonna look at the criminal justice reform. Nah, we didn't tell y'all that though, Shoeshana. That's why we're not voting for you. You keep saying the same lie. Oh yeah, blacks is enthusiastic to we want to speak about criminal justice and police brutality. Oh man, the police ain't said nothing to you, brother. Nothing.
Which is really consistent when you think about African Americans, males encounters and young people's encounters with law enforcement. So we need to pay special attention to that and offer solutions.
This is why they losing. But guess what? What's so crazy? I never knew. That's what the white Democrats are telling them to say. You're getting harassed because you're black, right? Let's hear about how the police don't respect you. That's so disrespectful. And he making millions of dollars at being the president of the NAACP. Then here he come with this losing hand. Yes, because see, with the police brutality, oh man, these people don't give a damn about none of that, brother.
While at the exact same time, recognize that the black vote will be a very important vote in the targeted states. And so the opportunity for campaigns in this moment is to communicate directly to those voters in a way in which it addresses the issues that are of most concern, particularly inflation, among the many things that this poll finds.
Nah, inflation, but he didn't go into it. He didn't want to go into it because he knows Biden and Kamala caused it. But he told the truth. See, that was one truthful thing. We are talking about inflation. What's going on? Higher prices. See, he had to tell the truth. But unlike the criminal justice reform, all other shit that he talked about and espoused on a little bit more, he said inflation and then just shut his mouth.
Let me pause here for a second. So NAACP, you have to understand, is not the same NAACP that it was during the civil rights movement. It's become very corporate. It's very much like a part of the Democratic Party. And unfortunately,
nothing important.
A lot of the civil rights energy was funneled into the Democratic Party, especially after those leaders were killed.
Hotel brother, revolutionary.
So you got to realize who you're listening to here. So just keep that in mind. 2, I don't see that energy from black people for Kamala Harris. This energy that he's talking about. I don't see that at all. That's why he said it is rivaling 2008 energy. Oh, hell no. I haven't seen that. When Obama ran for president in 2008, I saw that energy. I saw that energy among the black community. I don't see that same level of support from black voters for Kamala Harris. I don't see that. And for him to sit up there and say, oh, yeah, it's rivaling. No, it's not. There's no comparison. You're talking about right now, 63% of black voters. Just a couple of weeks ago, they said she was 74%.
See?
Now they're saying it's 63% with black voters.
It was just 74%. She just was 74% flying high. All the Greek freaks, they was capping. Roland Martin, they was capping. Oh, they just had a conference call. Millions raised. 20,000 black men for Kamala. 50,000 black women for Kamala. They all want to. Well, what happened to y'all? Because 1 week you're 74%. This week you're 63%. You're losing support with black people.
That's not good. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, they were polling higher with black voters at this point in time than Kamala Harris. They're going to get into that.
Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton. Come on. Remember they were telling you on the news, more black people was enthused. More black people was enthused about Hillary Clinton than they were about Kamala Harris. They can't hide this. This is the truth. And I'm not, MSNBC is saying this. See, it's getting too close to the election for them to keep lying for her. They gave enough time. more black people. I tell y'all, more black people wanted Elizabeth Warren. I told y'all that. Elizabeth Warren, that white lady from the East Coast, was getting more support from black people. They showed y'all that poll. The scam is up. She's losing support with black people.
This is important. You need to see these numbers.
And to your point, yes, 78% of black voters are as excited as they were in 2008 when Barack Obama ran for president. 56% are more excited now. Most respondents say their view of Harris has grown over the past month, but among the undecided voters, Derek, 1 in 4 say their opinion of her is less favorable than a month ago. So what's the strategy to reach some low propensity voters in black communities?
And I don't even understand where that 78% feel the same excitement as when Obama first ran. That's gotta be older black voters. That's gotta be, because with younger black people, I will say black voters under the age of 50. I don't see it. I don't. Now, don't get me wrong. Like there's some black voters who are like, yeah,
y'all make sure y'all share with everybody who's been telling y'all about how strong Kamala is. And what my brother Dwayne, is he in the audience today? Let me know what our brother get in the audience. Brother, everybody talking about Kamala. She's losing support with black people because we stronger than them, y'all. You see, what they fucked up is they had an elite group of sorority people. Oh, cool. Y'all only count for one vote. So they have to try to influence us to do what they say is not happening. We don't fuck with them like that. Excuse my language. They don't got that type of clout in our community no more. The polls saying that. It's nothing D.L. Hughley. It's nothing Plies. It's nothing Roland Martin. It's nothing Travis Smiley. It's nothing Steve Harvey can do. Because they got a channel, we got a channel. They got Instagram, we got Instagram. They got wherever they at, we at, and we pushing back. And the polls is saying black people is not impressed, and they are losing. She losing their support.
I want to support her, but I haven't seen black voters say they're excited about supporting her. Not black voters under 50. Most black people I've spoken to said they're not going to vote at all. So it is, I don't know. That's gotta be older black voters. That's gotta be.
But for the NAACP, our strategy is to enlist more volunteers to talk to their neighbors to get them to the polls. It should be the strategy of the campaigns to talk to those voters to make sure they understand what's at stake, how their vote can make a difference in the outcome of the election. What would that mean in terms of the quality of their life? Policing has always been a concern in the African-American community, particularly with young voters, particularly with African-American voters. But also inflation is of concern. And so you cannot take this block of voters for granted. That's what this poll is telling us. While at the exact same time it's saying that people are excited to participate, but we need to close the gap in terms of young voters, African-American voters, around their understanding with the power of their vote, how their vote would improve their lives, and why this election is so important.
Yeah.
And that is where you are losing black voters. When he says how this vote will improve their lives. The reason why you don't have that same type of energy is because we know it won't. We know it won't. We had that energy and that hope when Obama ran in 08. We was like, yeah, we finally got someone. He's probably going to make sure he does things for black people. And he didn't. Black wealth tanked under Barack Obama. So every person that runs for president after Barack Obama, you have to prove to people that you are not going to let the black community down like Barack Obama did. That's just the reality. So when he says that they have to understand that the vote will improve their lives, nah, we understand it won't. This is the NAACP. This is what the NAACP has become, right? No more, freedom. No more fighting for not just equality, but also equity. They have become a shill of the Democratic Party. That is what the NAACP has become. The NAACP, the Urban League, the Black Boule are not going to help low-income black communities in this country. They got their bag and they've moved on.
The effects from the Supreme Court overturning affirmative action certainly materializing now. Your first-year enrollment for Black students at Harvard dropped from 18% to 14% last year. Columbia and Brown report similar decreases in Black admissions. Then you look at Yale and Princeton, the percentage remained about the same. But yeah, there are differences in how they've gathered these numbers. Generally, though, what do you make of them? Are you surprised by them?
But it's unfortunate. I think some of these institutions went too far to comply with a Supreme Court decision that simply didn't say much of what we're thinking in the public discourse. Secondly, this is not a good indication for our society. When you leave the brain power of certain communities, off the table, you rob the American public, our democracy, of the ability to continue to grow and maintain our economy, because we are less fortunate when we don't have the intellectual capital of many young people at the table. African Americans have contributed so much to this society. Giving them more opportunities and exposure isn't taken away from anyone. It actually expands what's possible. And I hope these institutions reconsider their admissions policy, because if they don't, we're going to have a long-term gap that we will not be able to fill. And it's not about the Black community not being able to fill. It's about America not being able to fill the gap that we are creating by not having everybody at the table.
Donald, another thing I want to mention here as well. Notice the universities that they mentioned: Harvard, right? Yale. Why is it when they talk about these colleges, why are they only focusing on the elite institutions? Do you guys know, you can get a decent or a great education at a public university, right? You can look at some of these public universities like Michigan State University, University of Michigan, the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, University of Virginia. These are really great schools. These are top schools. And this idea that we have to look at how Black students are doing with admissions with Harvard and Yale and Stanford, why? Why are we only focusing on those institutions? Why are we encouraging these students to attend these state schools that are top 30 schools? University of Chapel Hill, last time I checked, was a top 30 school, boo. The University of Virginia, top school. These are public universities. Why are we trying to push these kids or make it seem like the gold standard for them should be these elite institutions, when oftentimes these elite institutions do not offer programs in an environment that makes Black students feel welcomed? Why are we doing that? Why are we steadily trying to push Black kids into these schools where they don't really fit? Now, this is not to say that you can't apply to those schools. If you want to go to Harvard, then go to Harvard. But what I'm saying is, why is that the focus? Why? University of California, Berkeley, top school, public university. Why don't they ever mention that? What is this obsession with these elite schools? We need to have a serious conversation about how we measure success in this country.
Trump once again promised to carry out the largest deportation in U.S. history and said his operation would target Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, despite zero evidence backing his repeated claims that they're eating their neighbors' pets. Here's some of what he said, Derek. Take a listen.
In Springfield, Ohio, 20,000 illegal Haitian migrants have descended upon a town of 58,000 people, destroying their way of life. We will do large deportations from Springfield, Ohio. Large deportations. We're going to get these people out. We're bringing them back to Venezuela.
Little detail here. Haitian people are not from Venezuela. They're from Haiti. But most of Ohio's immigrants work in factories to meet the demands of the area's labor shortage. So what's your response to Trump saying they're destroying the community's way of life?
Well, the rapid pace of his cognitive ability should be alarming to everyone. As you said, Haitians are from Haiti, not Venezuela.
People should be ashamed of themselves, acting like they give a damn about Haitians after the disgusting imperialistic BS they doing over there. Long live the Haitian revolutionary. Salute to our brother Barbecue. They think we know about the Haitians. We the people standing up for them. This is disgusting. And those Haitians who landed on Springfield, Ohio need to get their goddamn self together and go back and fight the imperialist Kenyans and the imperialist Jamaicans that showed up over there. Why are you in Ohio? What the hell are you doing? Being mocked and ridiculed on American news when you can get you some respect by going fight for your goddamn country. You will not find no sympathy here from nobody who's running away. Whether you run from Haiti, whether you run from the Congo, whether you run from Nigeria, we don't give a shit where you run from. You're a runner. Like any other coward. You stand up straight, we back you. America don't give a damn about no Haitians. Neither do this shoe shine on the TV. If he did, he wouldn't be backing imperialistic actions. He wouldn't allow Hillary Clinton to say, no, the Haitians are not getting a raise. I want them to be making $1 a day. That type of disgusting shit.
So first of all, we should be alarmed that the Republican Party is offering up someone who's obviously like the mental capacity to serve as president. Secondly, the appeal to the lowest common denominator of hate and fear is something we should all reject. In that one statement, he is rising up the issues of xenophobia, racism, and a way in which we should not tolerate in this country. And then finally, you said it, many of the individuals who are in Ohio in this country, they're here legally, they are productive citizens. They're working in factories and in fields. They are paying into tax systems that we're not allowing them to receive any benefits from. These are individuals that we should not be.
Look, that's slave labor. I got you. He said they're paying into a tax system where they won't reap any benefits. Yeah, that's what the racist whites always want to do to them. And you sitting there saying like that's a plus. What's wrong with you, house nigga? We don't want anybody to be paying into a system that they can't benefit from. That's what Whitey sold to y'all to shut up and let them rip the Haitians off. We got you. See, just don't be mentioning what Whitey told you, because we not buying that. You heard that nigga? So you okay with the Haitians paying into a tax system and then they're not benefiting from it? Oh man, how could you, brother? How could you?
Treating in this manner, we should figure out what is the right solution to address the crisis that we have around individuals to do certain type of work. We are running out of people to perform.
I swear to God, boy. I can't. What's this? Y'all document this nigga name. It's the head of the NAACP. This nigga just said we running out of people, y'all. He's saying we don't have enough workers to work these jobs in America. Boy, you just sat there and told them black men don't want to work. We lazy. What the hell you mean? You think we don't want the good paying jobs? You got to give it to immigrants. This man said we run out of people. You liar. You a damn liar. We trying to get our little young brothers trades and get them into some of these good paying jobs. You got the nerve. It's 350 million people in this damn country. All kind of brothers coming home from prison. They need to work and take care of their families and get their life back on track. You got the gall to say, we run out of good men. We got to give it to the migrants. That's disgusting, bro. And we got to stop letting these coons get away with this type of BS. That's treason.
Certain services. You think about the agricultural industry, we don't have enough people to provide the necessary labor to maintain
liar. Don't tell me about the agriculture industry. We picked that shit for free in prison. Ask Kamala. She was keeping brothers in prison in California, so they picked that shit for free. The people said, let the people out of here. Prison said, no, we need that slave labor. Don't tell us about you don't have the people. Oh, you got them when it's on the house, don't you? What you really mean is you don't want to pay. They don't want to pay. The migrants willing to take anything. Talking about the agriculture industry. Boy, you mean picking fruits and vegetables? Oh, you such a learned, scholarly man now, ain't you?
Agricultural infrastructure.
Well, then maybe we should be recruiting Black Americans for those jobs.
Damn right.
Instead of trying to push people into these Ivy League institutions where they're not welcomed anyway.
This is crazy.
Maybe that's something that should be done. I have that number here. I want to show you the number here because I want you to see the difference when we compare Obama and Kamala and Biden with Black voters. Everybody needs to see this. This is the part I think a lot of people are not discussing, even in independent media. The pro-Kamala people in independent media, they're not telling people about this. Kamala Harris gets a potentially worrying sign from the NAACP poll. Now, again, this was updated September 16th. So let's just look at the numbers, okay? The NAACP poll conducted in collaboration with Hart Research and HIT Strategies. Look at this. It found that 78% of respondents felt the same or more excitement about voting than when Barack Obama first ran as president in 2008. But this part here, let me come down, sorry. Of course, they're saying gender is going to be an issue, whatever. While 79% of Black women over 50 said they would vote for her.
They say that they need to say that shit on TV, bro. That's why I'm saying I'm the right person. Because you just say that shit in my presence, bro. And all of my anger and frustration, bro, I'm going to get it out that day. I swear to God, man, I'm doing 90 days. What is that? 6 months? Give me that. Give me that, man. Do that. That's easy, man. I'm not going to allow them people to sit here and pretend like we not ready to work. That's such a slap in the face to Black men. They say we lazy, we don't want the jobs. You got to give them to the other people. They hard-working people. What the hell is we? See, the myth is when whites used to say, oh, they taking our jobs. Black people, we the only people on this planet never took nobody's job. They took it from us. We used to do everything for free. We never took the white people jobs. Shit, when they had to start paying, then they took our fucking jobs. We the ones supposed to be grown. We used to do it all. We never took nobody fucking job from them. So when you're losing jobs all over the place, that's us losing out on our territory. We done it all. For these natty hoes they can talk about, we running out of people. Boy, has it been in the Black community lately? Clean that man up at the goddamn liquor. Clean them brothers up. They need some jobs.
Only 66% of men in the same age group felt the same. So they're talking about that. This part here, where I think she's gonna have to pay close attention to, right here. Black voters. The Suffolk University poll from earlier in September showed that she had a 64-point lead over former President Donald Trump. The figure is lower than Joe Biden's 2020 lead, which stood at 78 points. So at this point in time, Joe Biden had a higher percentage of support among Black voters.
Imagine that. Imagine the scam they sold us that Kamala was riding high off the BS about the money she raised. We told y'all that was big donor money, but they told you, no, that was for small independent donors. Remember Act Blue, they found out how to hack people's accounts and act like it's single people, but it's really big corporations. They're splitting. We busted them. We know what they're doing, because if they really had the enthusiasm for Kamala and her support amongst Black was surging, then she wouldn't be losing in support to where Biden was at last time he ran and where Hillary was at last time she ran. It was all a damn scam. They trying everything they can, even shooting at the goddamn man.
78%, 78 points. 78 points for Joe Biden, 64 points for Kamala Harris. What happened there? Now look at Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton.
They gonna cover this.
Let me unhighlight the rest of it so you guys can just see what I'm focusing on here. Hillary Clinton had 88 points in 2016 at this time. So what is it about Kamala Harris that is causing her to have a 64-point percentage here? Let me start from the beginning so people don't get confused. Harris' support among Black voters, while strong, lags behind previous Democratic candidates. So again, what is it about Kamala Harris that causes her to have 64 points, but Joe Biden had 78 points and Hillary Clinton had 88 points? All of them running against Donald Trump. So when Hillary ran against Donald Trump, she had 88 points at this time. When Biden ran against Donald Trump, he had 78 points at this time.
See, that's the same black people I know. See, so a lot of these black people are going on TV. A lot of these sorority sisters doing that same shit too. They going on TV. She black. That's my sorority sister. And then they voting against her. They voting against her in the polls. They just saying that shit to get their money. It's not adding up. Kamala, she should make all them people take a lot of tests who acting like they down with her, man. I knew they didn't believe she was black. They just hustling us, man. Them black sisters know there ain't no goddamn black lady, man. They know that. They never liked her. They never liked her. This is all a scam. It's all falling apart. Where's all that black? She asking the Boule too. Where's the black support at? She in the sororities because it ain't in real life. On Roland Martin show.
Kamala Harris has 64 points at this time running against Donald Trump. So what is it about Kamala Harris? Let me show you something. Because
black people ain't going for that.
This is part of the problem.
They finessing white people ain't gonna be voting for that lady.
At the National Association of Black Journalists, one of the questions that Kamala Harris was asked about is reparations. I want you to hear her response to this. Once again, as I told you before, there are certain topics where you can tell she feels comfortable discussing, and there are certain topics where you can tell she does not feel comfortable discussing it. This is one of those topics where I notice she does not seem comfortable discussing it. Listen to what she says.
What we need to do going forward. Look, first of all, we just need to speak truth about history in spite of the fact that some people try and erase history and try and teach our children otherwise. We need to speak truth about the generational impact of our history in terms of the generational impact of slavery, the generational impact of redlining, of Jim Crow law. I could go on and on and on. These are facts that have had impact. And we need to speak truth about it. And we need to speak truth about it in a way that is about deriving solutions. And frankly, I think that we, and part of that is studying it to figure out exactly what we need to do. But
so big red flag right there. What did I tell you about people that tell you it needs to be studied, right? The studies have already been done. If you look at Jill Stein's platform, does she tell you we need to study? No. She lays out a complete platform of a Black agenda, which includes reparations. Does Jill Stein say we need to study it? No. She said, let's study it and figure out what we need to do. You should already know what needs to be done. Does everybody understand this? How is it that I know what needs to be done? I'm not running for office. How do I know what needs to be done, but she doesn't know what needs to be done? Let's let her continue.
Part of what we can do right now is, for example, what I'm talking about in terms of building an opportunity economy, which is addressing explicitly the obstacles that historically and currently exist and dealing with them. Student loan debt, medical debt, bias in home appraisals.
Everybody see the problem here? Now they are asking her about reparations, and she is now talking about universal issues that affect everybody. Student loan debt affects everyone who has student loan debt. Student loan debt also does not close the racial wealth gap. Dr. Sandy Darity explains this in his book, From Here to Equality. That's someone who's done the study, by the way, Kamala. So if you really want to know about this study, you need to reach out and have a conversation with Dr. Sandy Darity. That's really who you need to talk to. You can also speak to Yvette Carnell. You can speak to Antonio Moore, co-founders of ADOS. You need to be speaking to these particular people. Ignoring them and avoiding these groups and reparations activists, you are really out there making yourself look like a fool. And then, of course, the Democratic Party has her running on she's a Black woman, but she don't know about this. And she's not willing to reach out to anybody who does? Now, she didn't add it in homes. She didn't add it in student loan debt, medical debt, all these things. Again, there she goes, adding in other people when talking about reparations for the American descendants of slavery. Everybody see what she does? Just like she added in other groups to the Freedmen Bank, instead of, she has a very uncomfortable time when people talk to her about issues specific to the Black community. She looks uncomfortable. She doesn't know how to answer it. She looks like she is struggling there. That's a problem. How is it that Cornel West can sit here and talk to you about reparations? Jill Stein, who is not Black, how is it she can sit there and talk to you about reparations? How is it all these other people can sit, Claudia de la Cruz, all these other people that are running, they can sit down there and talk to you about it. Kamala Harris, who has been running on I'm a Black woman, does not understand what reparations is. And that is a problem to a significant part of the Black voter base. And she needs to get that, and she needs to understand that. Now, it may not be her favorite topic, but considering where she's sitting right now with Black voters compared to Biden and Hillary Clinton, she might want to learn that topic.
What we need to do in terms of dealing with an issue that I have championed for years, Black maternal mortality, which is the fact that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth than other women. And we know that the reasons for that include disparities that pre-exist her pregnancy, including disparities that exist in the system during her pregnancy. So all of those things must be addressed.
But do you have a...
Now she's adding racial justice to reparations. And I want to be very clear about this. Reparations is a debt that is owed. She didn't mix in all this other stuff, fam. And if you don't know, just say you don't know. This is the problem I think some people have with Kamala Harris. Instead of just saying, I need to look into that, say you need to look into that. Instead of saying that, she brings in all this stuff, this word salad. Well, we know what the history is and this happened. Everybody knows that. We all know about the history. We know about slavery. Why are you telling us what we already know? So he has to repeat the question again.
Position on whether that should happen, this commission should happen through executive order or via Congress?
I think Congress ultimately will have the ability to do this work. I'm not discounting the importance of any executive action, but ultimately Congress, because if you're going to talk about it in any substantial way, there will be hearings, there will be a level of public education and dialogue that, and I think that was part of the spirit behind the congressional action thus far, to ensure that everyone can participate in this conversation in a way that elevates knowledge about history and the reference points that have that are the impetus of this conversation. Especially again, when people are trying to deny history, when people are, so-called leaders are saying that enslaved people benefited from slavery. I mean, let's talk about the delta here in terms of the work that needs to be done. It's profound.
How does Jill Stein know more about this topic than Kamala Harris does? That is the thing that drives me crazy. And then here's another thing. Okay, so notice how he said, do you think you can do that commission by executive order, or should it be Congress? Oh, I think it should be Congress. Yeah, pass it on over to them. She don't want to deal with this. This is Kamala Harris telling you she doesn't want to do this. Does everybody understand? This woman does not want to pursue reparations, and she needs to just say that. And she's wondering why, struggling with Black voters. And I Am really hits the nail on the head here. Thank you, I Am. I Am says, the last 30 years of what Black people got from voting in 4 simple pictures. Bill Clinton playing the saxophone, Barack Obama dancing on Ellen, on the show Ellen, Hillary Clinton dancing on the show Ellen, and Kamala Harris dancing here. This was when she ran in 2020. This is it. right? So this is what they think. They think all they have to do is perform for us, play a saxophone, send out a rapper, show us that they can do the electric slide or something like that. They think that's all they have to do for Black voters. That's it. And part of it is because we have to demand it, right? And when you demand it, you can't go back on your demands. You can't say, well, they told me this other person is a significant threat, so I'm just going to vote for them anyway. That's why the Democratic Party don't do anything for the Black community, because we will make demands, some of us, not all, and then just go along with them anyway. Why would they? Why would they? Philosopher King, thank you so much for this. He puts it so well. This guy's on it. Radicals in the 1960s argued that Black America was shifting from an internal colony into an internal neo-colony whose MBA professional class would be assimilated while the masses suffered from poverty and a police state. I think it is safe to say we have completed that process. He's referring to Angela Rye's video here, getting ready for the Congressional Black Caucus, etc. This is what I was saying. These people don't do nothing. These people don't do nothing for us and the community. They just want to entertain us. That's it. So that's something you may not hear from some of the other shows. When it comes to, they're talking about how she's doing pretty well in Iowa, of all places. That's cool. How many Black people live in Iowa? They're talking about, oh, Black voters are so excited about her. However, what they're not showing you is that when you compare her numbers to Biden and Hillary and Obama with Black voters, she is not in a good spot.
You can look at me and tell I'm it's definitely not Trump.
I want you all to imagine this for a second. The year is 2024, and you, as an American, as the person who has the right to vote, is being questioned on how you vote, not based on your ideological beliefs, but on the color of your skin. That's where we've gotten in this country. It seems as if the left continuously likes to argue this idea of ending racism, yet they believe that every decision that a person makes should be based on their skin color. You see, I'm not a Trump supporter because I'm Black. I am a Trump supporter because I believe in the conservative way of life. I believe that we need to deregulate. We need smaller government. I am pro Second Amendment. I support President Trump, not because of the man, but because of the policy that he had when he was president that allowed us to be an America first, great nation. And that's what I want to get in 2024.
Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise, and I have a great video for you guys today. I hope you guys sit back and enjoy this. It's a collection of videos, clips that I found just scrounging around the internet, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's go.
The DNC. Yep. So while y'all are over here talking about we're doing a great job, Americans 2 blocks down were like, we're suffering, everything is awful, and we're not a priority right now. Like, everybody is suffering from these America Last agendas. And Black people, and that's why I pointed out, like, publicly, folks act like they don't like me, and it's like really big voices acting like something's wrong with me, right? But when I go out to these communities, like I'm doing a barbershop talk tomorrow, I did one yesterday, and it's like, Trump is not hated in the Black community. Trump is heavily supported in the Black community. A lot of people are disappointed with the Biden-Harris administration and therefore do not trust a Harris-Walz administration. Like, the on-ground experience is vastly different than what I've experienced on social media. So in the midst of all this, it's, above all else, it's given me a greater understanding of like, ooh, how nasty politics can get. And, you know, how the media really can control a narrative. Like, the media can really make you hate a person. The media can make you ugly. Like, the fact that they always have Trump with his crunched up face and the pouty lips, like, When me and my 15 students went and had dinner with that man, he did not look like that. And that was one of the most starking things that a student told me on the way out was, Kayla, like, he doesn't even look like how they make him look on TV. He doesn't act like that. Like, whoa. And they're like, I think if more people got to experience him in that way, then making a decision in November would be that much easier. But unfortunately, you know, he's battling the machine. And, you know, when you go against the machine, people look at you sideways. And it's really sad how, just as Black people, like, we could talk, like, it's just really sad how, like, as Black people, we are so defensive when it comes to doing better. Mm-hmm. And it starts on a small scale. Like, you got moms not wanting you to tell their kids to stop cussing. Don't tell me what to do. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So now.
She's absolutely right. The machine is what he's battling, and the machine can make you look all kinds of crazy. And they succeeded in 2019 going into 2020. They succeeded. Think about this. They beat the American people up for 3 to 4 years about how racist he is, how bad he is, how bad the country is, you know, at that time, how he mishandled this, mishandled that. They've shown picture after picture. They have manipulated people to believe a lot of things about President Trump that is just simply not true. Not to mention the way they chop up and clip. They conveniently stop and never give the full context, and then they just run with that, and then you have a lot of people that will parrot that. That's what's been happening for a long time, and finally, people are starting to see through the madness. Finally.
People are willing to do what President Trump does. What message is Trump sending here to people like you and people who live in the community?
For him to come here, he's saying regardless of politics, people matter. Mm-hmm. For him coming here, for us, we feel like, wow, we need to make Black America great again, because Black America used to be the very epicenter of politics. Black America, specifically the Black church, was a place that you can get the information that you needed in an objective way in order for people to make informed decisions. So what we're asking the president to do is to make Black America great again.
We're definitely looking forward to that. And shout out to Pastor Sewell. He did a great job at the RNC, but he's absolutely right. There was a time when the Black community was strong, even in the midst of a bunch of foolery that was happening, you know, within Jim Crow and so forth and so on, the redlining, so forth and so on. But there was a time when the Black family was intact. There was a time, just like the sister out in Chicago said, yeah, I had to go to the colored water fountain, but our communities were intact. Our families were intact. Yeah, we dealt with some issues. There was some strife, but we had some things in order on our side of the tracks in the community, and we need to get back to that. I'm not saying we need to go back to Jim Crow. I'm not saying that we need racial segregation. What I am saying is that we need to start prioritizing the family. We need to start prioritizing the nuclear family.
Is the fact that people say that the Republicans pander to the Black community, but the Democrats are the ones telling you, you need us. We're going to support you. Here's this handout, but it's just enough to barely make it. Like, you're not going to ball out, but you'll always need them. The Republican Party is saying, you don't need us. You got this. You're capable of anything. This is America. Make it happen. See, that's why people don't want to hear what I have to say, because what I'm going to say is do the work. Stop waiting for a handout. Reparations ain't never coming. And you know what's even crazier is letting the 10 million plus illegal immigrants that are coming over here and taking all of the American jobs. Pretty soon they're not going to need the Black vote, because they're letting in their voters that are going to vote to have handouts and be taken care of like they already are. So you go ahead and enjoy the pandering from the Democrats, Black community, LGBTQ community, people of color, all of y'all, yes, enjoy it, because it's going to end soon.
She's absolutely right. The Democrats, they want to dangle that carrot out there. They want to give you just enough to survive, never enough to thrive. Dr. Claude Anderson said this 25, 30 years ago to Black people. They're bringing people in here to replace you. Folks didn't want to listen. He was ringing the alarm bells 25, 30 years ago. He's written a multitude of books about it. No one would listen. Now we sit in 2024. They've let over 10 million people come into this country, and they put them in Black communities. Y'all see what's going on in Chicago. Y'all see what's going on in New York City. It's happening in a lot of places. They're also putting them in Middle America. What people got to understand is that they're bringing these people over to replace not just the Black community, not just Black Americans, but Americans in general. But what you guys got to understand is that the Democrats, they need a class of people that they can dangle that carrot over. They need it. They have to have an underclass. They have to. And they have to have a class of people, a group of people that will depend on them. So every 2 to 4 years, just like they've been doing in the Black community for the better part of almost 60 years, now a lot of Black folks aren't in need of what the Democrats have to offer. Most Black people are in the middle class. Just a large amount of Black folks are in the middle class. Over 50% of Black men are in the middle class. So we're not looking for those handouts. We're not looking for those little tokens and trinkets. Those things don't excite us anymore. We're looking to build families. We're looking to build business. We're looking to be able to build things that we can leave to our children and our grandchildren. So they realize that and they say, oh, snaps, we got to get a new voter class. We got to get a new voter block. And they've allowed almost 27 million people over here. You never know. You really don't know the number. And we probably won't know the number until Trump gets in office. Some people say it's definitely over 10 million. I've heard 16. I've heard 21 million. We really won't know until Trump gets in and can figure this thing out. But if Harris wins, we'll get more of what we got, and she'll probably exacerbate the situation, to be honest with you. That will probably happen.
Donald Trump.
Trump. He's not the best person in the world, but better than who's in office right now.
Donald Trump. Why? Because he keeps it real. Even though if he hate people, he's going to let you know, but he still won't get the job done.
I love Donald Trump. Bring back Uncle Trump.
Bring him back?
Yeah, we need some more stimulus.
What do you think about Joe Biden? He's tired.
What has he done for us so far? We're in inflation.
He calls it shrinkflation.
Oh, where's it shrinking at?
How are you going to say that you're going to do this and do that for all the people, and then you go back on your word?
How is Joe Biden doing for the country? Maybe, does that say it all?
Yep.
Absolutely. I don't need to add any more to that.
To Donald Trump, the internet has called me a clown. I'm not educated. I'm not Black. They wish Donald Trump would rape my daughters. They want me to go jump off a bridge. I mean, the amount of hateful things that people are leaving under my comments, it's so disgusting. You guys are so for love and peace and unity, but actually, you guys are the most hateful people. You guys are a bunch of snowflakes. You can't handle somebody just stating their opinion. You can support Kamala Harris on your page. That's fine. That's okay. I don't expect anybody or everybody to think like me. So it's wild to me.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that 1000%. And she's absolutely right there. Are some of the most intolerant people out there, yet they claim they want us to be tolerant of them. All of them are hypocrites. It's outrageous.
Who have been allowed us to be so marginalized now that you feel like you don't have a voice because it's not other people around you speaking to the issues. But so you stay quiet and you stay hidden and you stay behind the foreground. But now is the time. We're not the silent majority no more. We need to get loud. We need to be bold. We need to get out and have conversations with our families, our friends. We need to stop being scared of losing our jobs when we're talking about our freedoms being on the line here. It was our ancestors with this skin color that fought for the very freedoms that we have right now. We dang sure need to stop giving it up every single chance we get just because a Democrat tells you that you need to. We don't need a Democrat to give us our power. We already have power because God is the one that sits on the throne, not a Democrat politician.
Oh, yeah.
Amen. Nicolette, what your advice to Trump? 45 seconds.
President Trump, my advice to you, sir, is that you need to be unapologetic. You need to be raw. You need to stop trying to don't pander to nobody. The reason that you have all of these people here and the reason why you have more people that look like us backing you is because you were unapologetic when you ran the first time. And there are those of us who remember that culture used to love you. We remember who Trump was before the media started telling everybody that you was racist. Go back to being unapologetic. Speak your mind. Say what you feel like saying. Be raw. Be unapologetic.
She's absolutely right. And that's why Trump is resonating with so many people, and especially younger Black folks. We're tired of politicians smiling, cackling, and lying. We tired of it. We just want someone to keep it real. And sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes the truth is raw, but the truth needs to be said. And when Trump said your schools are terrible, the cities that you're living in are awful, what do you have to lose? The people on the left, you had a lot of black folks, they got all up in arms about it. Oh my gosh, but I've had conversations with people about this when when this happened and after the fact. And I had to ask them, is he lying? And they're like, no, he's not lying. The schools do suck in these communities. The cities are terrible in these communities. He's not lying. Well, he could have said it better. How can you tell someone that where they live at isn't good in a nice way? If you walked into someone's home and it's dirty and you told them like, hey man, I got to get up out of here. Your house is dirty. Their feelings are probably going to be hurt behind it. But how do you tell someone that you're filthy in a nice way? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section though.
Respectful to the Lord Jesus Christ is him giving you a baby and giving you life and you dropping it at his feet saying, I don't want it because you don't want to control who you having sex with.
So this clip I'm about to play took place in Atlanta live during the debate. Teslyn Figaro, hope I'm saying the name right. She's the host, and I mean the most rudest ghetto host ever. But I will be sure to put the link of this full video in the description box below. But here you have the topic of abortion come up. And let me just say this. I'm so tired of these fake Christians, especially when they manipulate the word of God for their ignorant, selfish purposes. But this sister here I'm about to play, she stood on business. Check it out.
Yeah, I just want to speak to the people in the Christian community. As a Christian, I'm actually very disappointed in some of their point of views, including the abortion rights. Tell people, I've heard a couple of conversations, people saying that a man can't tell me what I need to do with my body. But as a Christian, I just feel like, how can you agree with something or someone who says, when the Lord had already said, do not murder? So how can you agree with somebody who said, yeah, let's go ahead and abort, even when they have came out the womb? You know what I'm saying? And then the lady back there who said, Kara, was that your name? Who said, how can we agree with someone who said grab people by the vagina? Well, as a Christian, I'm agreeing with Trump, and I don't identify with necessarily either party, but this year I am Team Trump because of his policies. Most of the ones, when I go by line, they agree with Jesus' principles that's laid out in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be mad at someone who half of his principles is aligned with the Bible. I can't disagree with someone who is against the LGBTQIA, DEI plus agendas with men, including men, playing in women's sports. I can't agree with someone who's going to, do the abortion ban. I can't not do the abortion ban. I cannot agree with someone who's going to go ahead and take away our gun reform when in the Bible, Jesus is actually for us protecting ourselves. Somewhere in Luke, he definitely said, here's 2 swords. Okay. That is enough.
So let's let because she was talking to her in the pink, so she wanted to comment.
What she's saying is true. If you claim to be a follower of Christ, who is the truth, you can't walk in agreement with lies. God is not confused. Your responsibility as a believer is to vote for policies that are going to empower you, but not just you, also other believers, to push the gospel of the kingdom. And Kamala's policies doesn't allow that.
Come on, sister, we're running out of time.
Okay, the first thing God called us to do is love.
Correct.
And I think a lot of our speech, yes, 100% has been inflammatory, but he's called us to love and not judge.
Correct.
Second thing God gave us is free will.
Mhm.
It's not up to us to decide the cost of somebody's sins and how we're going to act out this person's punishment. So when you sit there and say that Trump's policies align with Jesus Christ, do you hear his speech? Do you hear his speech
He
though?
can work on his heart.
But God says in the Bible, judge a man by his fruits. His fruits. Hold on. Please don't talk over me. His fruits are inflammatory. His fruits are rotten. So please don't disrespect my Jesus Christ like that. Okay, my family was and let me also go back just a little bit more. My family was very instrumental. And let me also say, my family was very instrumental. Is this mic on? Can people hear me?
I feel like it
Okay.
She want them abortions, boy.
Yeah. And I'm also saying this as a person whose family was instrumental in founding the AME Church. I don't know where your relationship with God went wrong. And I'll retract that because I can't judge where you're, but I think you need to go back to the Bible a little bit more and have some one-on-one time with him to really think about whether the person that you're calling to represent this country actually represents Jesus Christ or whether he's actually thwarting Jesus' word.
You said that I'm disrespecting Jesus Christ, but what's disrespectful when he is the one who creates life? I think Christian can say he is the end all be all. He is the Alpha and Omega. He is the only one responsible for life. So what is disrespectful to the Lord Jesus Christ is him giving you a baby and giving you life and you dropping it at his feet saying, I don't want it because you don't want to control who you having sex with. If you do not want to have a baby with somebody that you don't want a baby with, you don't need to be having sex with that person. Maybe you need to close your legs. Maybe that's what you need to do because you just don't want to be responsible with your body count. You want to use the I don't want a man telling me what to do with my body as an output and as an excuse. But that is not. You telling me I'm disrespectful and I need to revisit? Maybe you need to revisit.
Okay, so when you relax.
I mean,
we want the panel. We want nobody. We need to stop.
Conversation.
How is it irrelevant if we're talking about policies?
Sis, hold on.
Irrelevant, young lady. It's irrelevant because there's this such thing called separation between church and state. Your religious beliefs, if you would just let me finish, your religious beliefs do not supersede my right as an American to not subscribe to that if I so choose. The government does not allow, the government is not inside my bedroom. The government shouldn't be inside your bedroom. What you do between you and God, you'll sort it out when you go seek salvation later. But for the government to try and sort that out through law makes no sense because this is not, everyone in this country is not Christian.
Well, one thing about it, when I first came up here, I said, as a Christian, I'm disappointed in the Christian point of view.
Please don't, please.
She clearly said that it was towards the Christian community. That's who she was talking to. But this dude, and you can tell by how he talked, he's part of the alphabet community.
He said got you can sort it out later.
Trying to say that it's irrelevant.
Don't disrespect me or yourself. Okay? Please do not.
The way you just did by saying that you're for killing the baby when you said don't murder, that disrespect, that's the disrespect we're talking about.
Okay. Figaro said, let's let everybody have.
Figaro, go ahead.
Let's let everybody have. Deaconess, let him finish his point, and then we got to let somebody else come up.
Go ahead, because I do want to hear what you was going to say. Go ahead.
Yes. What I am saying is that all of that is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You should sort that out with your church.
That boy that can play
you
the
should
piano,
not be sorting that out with government officials. Because guess what? There are people who also interpret the Bible to say that it justified your enslavement. That justifies you being mistreated as a black person based on their biblical interpretation. Do you want that codified into law? No. So if you don't want that codified into law on the other side, you should probably just take your religious beliefs and have them inside of your house of faith.
I can't.
So we're done. Hold on. We're moving on.
I just want to make
No. I can't because they're literally having me. We got to move on. We got to move on.
And you got to respect me. I don't know who you think you talking to, but I can get up in here real quick because I was respecting her authority. If she has authority, there's no need for you to jump in when somebody else is speaking. You have been on 10 since we've been in here. You need to take your emotions out of it because I am listening to everybody else's opinion. It's you who need to take your authority out.
Ooh. Welcome.
Woo.
That's right.
Let me tell y'all.
We want to fight for the Lord now.
A true Christian, a true believer is weak. See, the world is so used to the type, oh, I don't want to offend. I don't want to judge. We're supposed to just love everyone and not judge. And notice, it's really something very similar to what the woman in the pink was saying. Like, she tried to demean the other woman, saying she need to reread the scriptures, No, you need to reread the scriptures. You need to get in the word of God and repent. And the word of God doesn't even tell us to not judge. The word of God tells us to not condemn, which is to put down or to judge hypocritically or self-righteously. But we are supposed to judge, which is to make an observation. And I mean, I just spoke on this in my previous Lecrae video. Then she said, we judge a man by his fruits, which in how she's using it is unbiblical, because if what she's saying is the truth, God can't use none of us. He can't use none of us. But she conveniently left out Kamala's Jezebelic fruit, which is to remove God's law. Then try to use bragging rights to say her folks established the AME church. And whenever a man can take credit for something, that's how you know God ain't in it. God ain't part of the AME church. Shoot, Kamala was just there a few weeks ago. So you know God ain't in that. And so, of course, she's going to vote for Kamala. Her views are already twisted. The woman in the pink said a whole bunch of nothing. Then a man tried to reference white men, white masters using the word of God for enslavement. Anytime they bring that up as if it changes the truth of God's word, because it don't change the truth, this is their way to silence believers. They want believers to stay out of politics, which is why they manipulate separation of church and state so much. When it
slave obey your master, that's the hands of man. That ain't the speaking of the Most High.
It has nothing to do with believers exercising their right to vote. Nothing to do with it. But them, when they say that, it's because we don't need you telling us what's right and wrong. We don't need you engaging in politics. Listen, do what you want to do behind closed doors. It's your business. But the moment you try to impose your sexuality on the kids, you know, putting pornographic material in school books, removing parental rights, which is happening right now in California, and then to try to make it legal to kill a child, and even worse, to remove the child after it's already born. Like, it's sick. It's sick, and it's
asked her. He said, "Okay, what month? What month? What month is too far? What month?" She wouldn't say what month. He said, "What month? Tell me what month is the right month to abort a baby." They won't say a month.
Wrong. Now, this is not to condemn any woman who's had an abortion. If you had one, just know you can repent. God is faithful and merciful to forgive. You don't have to live in any guilt or condemnation. But what I'm saying is, we don't get to change God's law and decide what's right and wrong. And we have no right to infringe on a child's rights. That's a point they'll leave out as well. They make it as if only the woman has rights. And this is the hypocrisy with the world. Because if a pregnant woman gets killed, what do they call that? Don't they call it a double homicide? And the person who did it gets charged double for the crime. But y'all trying to say abortion is not murder. Like, make it make sense. And so a big shout out to this sister here for standing on the word of God, especially in a hostile environment. If you watch this full video, you will see that, I mean, even from the host, like, the host was just rude and nasty. But this sister here, she could have, you know, just sat there and said nothing.
That ain't nothing.
But the Spirit of God wouldn't allow her to. And that's what the world is about to see even more. God is very confrontational. And this sister here, she confronted that fake Christian in that pink, and she stood on business. But that's enough of my thoughts. Drop you all's thoughts in the comments below.
I'm like, at least say something. Don't just. Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we want to dive back into the interview that Vice President Kamala Harris had conducted with the National Association of Black Journalists. And there was one of the journalists by the name of Tanya Mosley. she asked Vice President Kamala Harris a question about gun control. And I want you to see how this sister really put, some fire on her, right? To ask her some questions in a very smooth way. But it's not so much her doing that because she's really doing her job. But watch how Vice President Kamala Harris clearly watch her tone change. And at the end, watch how she leaves the event. Just watch. Let's go ahead and check that out.
Vice President, I'm switching gears again.
That's one thing about Obama, man. He a scammer, but he one of the picture perfect politicians. Laugh, quick on his feet. He don't react to anger, even when he was getting heckled. And he'll laugh at him, make jokes, and come retort back with some quick, you know what I'm saying, a quick retort, say something back. Facial expressions did not give away how he was thinking. That's another reason why the white people really hate Obama, because they could never be as smooth as Obama. Bill Clinton wasn't that smooth. This lady, her facial expressions tell it all. She is vindictive and evil. And this lady's finna ask us a nice question, easy question, but with some force to it. She wouldn't let Kamala make it, but just the nastiness of Kamala.
And quick question. I want to talk to you about gun control. So you've said you support an assault weapons ban and universal background checks. And we actually learned during the debate that you are a gun owner. But in cities like Philadelphia, handguns are responsible for most homicides and violent crime. The most recent FBI data shows handguns were involved in 59% of murders in our country. How will you address the issue of the use of handguns? Because a push for an assault weapons ban only addresses a significant but small part of the problem.
This is a trap.
So, first of all, yes, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz is the gun owner, and we're not trying to take anybody's guns away from them. But we do need an assault weapons ban. Assault weapons are designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
Yes,
and have no place have no place. I'm going to get to it.
Yes.
And have no place on the streets of a civil society. We need universal background checks, which, to your point about handguns, is about saying that it is just reasonable to want reasonable gun safety laws that say we should do background checks, that we ought to know. It's just reasonable. You might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon. If they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others, you might just want to know.
And respectfully, we do understand that.
But you're asking
Yes.
about...
I'm asking specifically about handguns, because many of those handguns aren't purchased in places.
Universal background
Yes.
checks apply to handguns.
Yes.
They do.
But in
And
many instances, those handguns aren't even bought lawfully. Yes.
Which is why I also have been very adamant for years. In fact, I myself protested at a gun show probably 10, 15 years ago about the gun show loophole and why we need to close that. Because what ends up happening is that gun shows at flea markets, gun dealers are not, under existing law in the past, required to register their sales.
Well, looks like somebody was a little frustrated there toward the end. You know, she put her hand up like, whatever. So, now most candidates would be like, hey, how you doing? And maybe you shake hands with some people in the crowd, hey, vote for me, it's coming up in November. But she didn't want to go shake hands with the crowd. She didn't want to do anything. She's like, but see,
she said, I knew I shouldn't.
And that sister was not even really pushing on her hard. She just gave her a little pushback, right? And she got visibly frustrated because, like, what did you think? Just because you're going to sit in front of the NABJ that they weren't going to ask you questions, they didn't even treat her like they treated Trump. I mean, they came combative with Trump and he dealt with it, right? Well, they gave just a little pushback. And if you watch the whole thing.
Sister proved We don't want to hear campaign speeches. We got real crime going on. Don't tell us about assault weapons when brothers is getting, sisters is getting, elderly people getting killed, kids getting killed daily by handguns. That's a damn good question. I'm glad that sister did not let her do a campaign speech. She said, no, I'm not. We're talking about handguns, ma'am. What is your, and she, she don't have a plan. She have a speech. And that sister won't let her give no goddamn campaign speech, and black people dying daily, and you don't have no plan? Nope.
Thing they were asking some pretty good questions. I was like, okay, I like some of the questions that they're asking of her. See, I don't think she got the questions ahead of time because she was doing a whole lot of babbling and a whole lot of word salad, ladies and gentlemen. She don't want to be questioned. She don't want to have to figure out what she's going to do. She has a script that she has memorized. And if you take her out of her script that she has memorized, then she gets visibly frustrated because she clearly got frustrated. And it's not like she was being interviewed by Fox News where they literally going to go in on you, right? So if you cannot interview, once again, if you cannot interview with these black journalists at the NABJ whose job is to ask you certain questions, you're scared of Fox News. You won't go over there with them, right? Or anybody who's going to push back on you.
That'll be the end.
Even CNN was giving a little pushback too. But that's what they're supposed to do. How is she going to deal with world leaders who wants to see the undermining of the United States of America? How she's going to deal with them?
And that's why
they're not going to go light on.
People should be pissed. So people, and even the Congressional Black Caucus, I call them all kind of names. Bro, it is dozens of stronger leaders in the Congressional Black Caucus than that lady. It is dozens of real black people in that Congressional Black Caucus that can handle those questions with ease because they really care about us, but they're not allowed to show their hand of who they really are. Just like back in the day, we couldn't say how intelligent we was. Our ancestors was tricking white people up out of shit. That's real talk. My granddaddy was tricking them out of several cars and lots of land, hat in hand. They didn't know what he was collecting, him and his brothers, collecting everything. He had to fool them, you know? But these people act like we still got to do the same thing. The Democrats is making black people with their head down act like they don't really know what's really going on. This is ridiculous. So, you know, Kamala babbles. And what happened is it makes us all, and I don't like we said that, but the picture they paint for the world don't want to hear her say she's not black. They're like, oh, look at this black. She's not too intelligent. Dang, this the best they got. That's what they start thinking. Well, they either shaking their ass or doing this type of nonsense. Man, it's bad for us, man.
On her, they're not going to look at her and say, oh, well, she's a woman, so I can't say her. They don't care about that because in a lot of countries outside of America, they don't respect no women. A lot of them going to be like, why is she here? You know, she need to be getting me a sandwich or something. That's how a lot of them think. Women have it very good in the United States of America. Talk to women outside of America and a lot of these other countries that she has to go engage with. Those women don't have it as good. But once again, when you see her in real time, see, we all know now that the ABC debate, she had got to debate questions. A whistleblower came out and exposed it. She had got the debate questions ahead of time. Okay. So she knew what she was going to be asked because she already, that's why she was so confident when she went in there. That's why she didn't come in here confident.
And she was no answer. She just went into her campaign speech. But it was all a hoax on the American people to make her look strong.
Babbling, word salad. I watched the whole thing. She was babbling. And when she asked about the guns, she babbled for about 5 minutes, didn't say nothing. And that's like what she do. She babbles and don't say anything. I'm like, at least say something. Don't just babble. That's why I said she was not ready for prime time. And y'all say, oh, Phil, the debate happened. Ooh, but you say she wasn't ready for prime time. I was right. She wasn't ready because she had to get the questions ahead of time and cheat. Trump didn't get the questions ahead of time. He had to take it just how they gave it to him, which is how a debate's supposed to be, right? You're debating, you take whatever topic they throw at you. And Trump had to debate 3 versus 1. She didn't have to do that. So I don't see how anybody is so excited about anything. And a lot of people online are saying, man, she fumbled this interview. She did in a lot of ways. And once again, they gave her minimal pushback. They didn't mash the gas on her.
That's what she is.
And this is supposed to be the candidate that the Democrats put up. I'm sure they had other Democrats that could have probably been better than this.
Man, they got dozens.
But no, they decided to. Well, they selected her. She wasn't elected. Joe Biden was actually elected in a primary by the people. He was. He got 14 million votes. Even though those primaries was not real primaries because they didn't really want to do a primary, right? Now, maybe next time they actually do a real one. We don't know. But if they can get away with selecting her and then she actually wins the presidency, the voters not going to have a chance anymore to select the candidate because the Democrat Party will say, oh, well, shoot, we did it once. We'll do it again. You understand what I'm saying? But Vice President Kamala Harris fumbled the ball on this whole interview. Yesterday, we talked about the scammy study, the scammy reparation study they keep talking about, a study. We're not hearing no study because we saw Gavin Newsom pull that scam in California. And when the rubber met the road and it was time to start getting things done.
Why would the Congressional Black Caucus give a damn about reparations? They're millionaires. That is reparations. They get it. The United States government is giving these shoeshiners reparations. They just the joke is on us. That's when you get to the Congress, they tell you, okay, here your reparations. Shut up, nigga. Don't tell the rest of them. Just go out here, say whatever we tell you to say, and just stay here over time. You'll be richer than you ever can believe. All of them. They all millionaires. That's the joke. You get now make $30-40 million. You're like, what reparations? We ain't got no reparations, boy. Like Clyde Burns say, never. No. What? Man, the people don't give a damn about no reparations. They not poor. Oh man, these scammers. Shame on them, man, for fooling black people who need just a helping hand to get up and they can live that dream.
What'd he do? He sabotaged it and used the bootlicks in the California Legislative Black Caucus to assist him in sabotaging the reparations bill.
Yeah, they rich. They don't go down.
You understand what I'm saying? That's why.
Get out of here.
All of them are up on the ballot in November. My brothers and sisters in California, get registered to vote and go vote against all of them. Vote against blue, no matter who. It's time for California to not be a blue state no more. It's time. It should be at minimum purple or at best red. Reason why I say that is because the Democrats have way too much of a stronghold on that state, and that state, nothing gets done. If you want to look at what it looks like when Democrats have complete control and rule, look at California. Look at California. Do you want the rest of the country to look like California? Vice President Kamala Harris is a California politician.
Yep.
And
I remember when the Super Bowl happened. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago? It might be 2 years ago. It was in Los Angeles. Man, I just couldn't believe it. It like was Mad Max or what's that show where you just purge? The police said, "Don't come. We can't protect you." Like what type of? What the hell is this? The police said, "Don't come to Los Angeles." For the Super, I couldn't believe that. They didn't give a damn about advertisement going down. They told the Super Bowl people, "The hell with y'all, man. These people gonna get kidnapped, man. All right, we can't protect all these people coming down here." The police said, "Don't come. We can't protect you." That is what they want to bring to all over America, to where you had the police saying, "Hey, man, you're on your own if you come around here."
And the rest of the country is going to look like California by the time she's done. Open borders. Bringing in cultures that's not conducive to the American culture, bringing in crime, bringing in gangs, bringing in all kind of practices that we don't practice here in this country. You know what I'm saying?
These people are importing organized crime into this motherfucking country. If you look at what's going on at Los Angeles, it's people, rich people. I've been watching the news. Hey, Hollywood, you don't go there, bro. Your ass getting kidnapped. People sitting down trying to sip tea in very distinguished and high-class places. Don't even know. People running up on them, slapping them, snatching their watch. Everywhere, Beverly Hills. Don't let the people fool you. Don't ever go to Beverly Hills. They'll get you there. It's crazy, man. It ain't what you think no more, man. People done ruined America, bro. They done imported gangs of people. They doing like Shannon Sharp and them. Everybody in LA know, you can't even go to the store. They'll clean your house out. What the hell going on here? Migrant gangs. Migrant gangs breaking your house. Migrant gangs stealing your cars. Migrant gangs stealing your identity. Anything that's criminal, somehow, somehow as soon as the migrants get here, they're at the top of the list in doing it. Somebody teach these migrants how to do all of the top-notch crimes you could ever commit. That's serious business.
I put a tax upon tax upon tax. Do you know Gavin Newsom just signed a bill about you can't do a parody video if it's about a politician when they're running for office? Because they're doing parody videos now with AI and things like that, but it's parody. Now he said California, that's illegal. So you worry about trying to stop people from clowning you, right? But you're not worried about reparations, everything. See, that's what I'm talking about. The Democrats believe in mass censorship. Why would I want to vote for mass censorship? That's stupid. You have to understand, a person like myself and even you, that will hurt our overall bottom line of censorship. We can't deal with mass censorship. That is what dictators do. That's what communism do. Communists believe in mass censorship. And the Democrats have been leaning on this communism dictator type of style of governing where they want to just overtax, mass censor, and just doing what they want. And like I say, how can we as American citizens who say you believe in the Constitution, you believe in the Bill of Rights, you believe in your freedoms, right? And this is the oxymoron of the whole thing. They run around here talking about freedom, but believe in censorship. Freedom, but want to overtax you. How is that freedom? You should be free to enjoy your money, free to speak, free to have a great life, right? So we need to think about that, ladies and gentlemen. But she fumbled the ball on this one. She fumbled the ball and she was frustrated. Didn't even go speak to the potential voters. She just it left. It says a lot about her. Says a lot. But as this campaign go along, and as of today, they got 47 days left. As of today, 47 days. We're going to see the pressure going to get even more and more on her. I guess now they like, well, you know what? Yeah, you might well go ahead and do interviews now. We can't hide you no more. You got to go ahead and do it. And the more and more she speak, the more and more she's going to expose herself. And people going to be like, man, I ain't voting for her. That just really would. Now, of course, some people will vote for her regardless. It don't matter what. We're talking about the people that actually could see, people with common sense. You can see, once again, she's not ready for prime.
Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, Charlemagne, Kamala's radio defense team, as well as all the shills pushing the What You N-Words Need to Know Kamala Harris post. Yeah, for those who don't know, after she was endorsed by Biden and she started getting backlash, this is how Kamala Harris fought Black people. She had her shills put out this post on social media, all of them from Jamel Hill to Charlemagne the God. Now, they don't talk to any other voter block like this, but they thought this was the best way to communicate with Black people. And on that post, they released a bunch of disinformation, straight up lies about Kamala to combat the truth. Kamala, she sent out people like Michael Eric Dyson, Steve Harvey, and Ricky Smiley, all to tell lies and run interference, telling us she didn't lock anybody up but criminals that should have been there. Well, meet Miss Peoples. She's one of the many Black women and Black men prosecuted by Kamala Harris with her truancy laws. Remember, as the California AG, Kamala created this to specifically target Black people, mostly Black women, and here's one of the true stories of many.
I intend
intend to fight for Black Lives Matters. I intend to fight.
If Black Lives matter to her, why didn't I matter?
I don't agree what Kamala Harris did to my mom. And I don't agree with what she's done to other parents as well.
My message to all Americans, especially Black Americans, do not trust Kamala Harris.
I'm so proud of you right now because you walked all the way down here and I wasn't expecting you to walk.
My daughter, Shayla, suffers from sickle cell anemia, a chronic, painful genetic disease.
As a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick.
It's a very sharp stabbing pain and it hurts a whole lot.
Black people make up 90% of sickle cell cases in the US. That's 9 out of every 10 cases. And of all Black babies born, about 1 in 13 are born with a sickle cell trait, meaning they have inherited a sickle cell gene from one parent. It's absolutely horrible.
Like from my chest all the way down, it hurts, including my side.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
When Kamala Harris was the California Attorney General, she had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school.
I spent a majority of my time here at the hospital.
Kamala's horrible policies hurt mothers like me and the Black community. My name is Sheree Peoples, and this is my story. I am a single mother. I've worked as a certified nursing assistant and a caregiver. My daughter Shayla was born in 2002. When she was born, she was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. It affects all major organs in the body and also causes extreme pain. Her whole life, she has been on medications like morphine and Dilaudid to help her control the pain. In addition,
I just got out of school. I've done 3 full days this week. Oh, I'm so tired.
And for years, the teachers were aware of her condition and her absences were all excused. California schools get their state and federal funding based off of average daily attendance. Schools are paid about $30 per student per day.
It's always about money. And back when Kamala was the AG in California, the ADA per student per year was between $9,000 and $10,000. That number is much higher today. Back in 2020, it was $15,000, and now it's over $21,000 per year per student. That's for basic students. Remember, they get way more if they can place a disability on your child. So yeah, they're definitely getting more for physical disabilities, mental disabilities, and learning disabilities. This is why they're also eager to place the ADHD label on kids. So yeah, Kamala lied. She said that she went after parents to stop crime. She was only going after them for money. No different than keeping men in prison past their release dates to save money, have free labor for them to fight fires for the state. It's all about money and exploiting Black bodies, just like her Irish slave master ancestors in Jamaica.
In San Francisco, we threatened the parents of truants with prosecution.
I first heard of Kamala Harris when she got elected California Attorney General.
We are putting parents on notice. We are going to make sure that you face the full force and consequences of the law.
She wrote a report saying truancy was costing California schools $1.4 billion a year in funding.
Because of truancy, California public schools lose $1.4 billion a year in funding. I want money.
Kamala then wrote a law making it criminal for parents if their kids miss school time. Kamala even wrote a book called Smart on Crime.
You can read an excerpt from the book that she just plugged shamelessly. It's called Smart on Crime.
Talking about arresting parents for truancy.
I sent a letter on my letterhead out to every parent in the public school system.
In 2012, like all California parents, I received a threatening letter from Kamala Harris saying we'll go to jail for a year if our kids even miss 10% of school days. It was like a crazy intimidation tactic.
I'm going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
I thought, wow, this woman doesn't have any empathy. Is it because she's not a mother? I also thought, how could she not understand it would disproportionately affect people of color, single Black mothers?
She also didn't care that it will mostly impact Black children because she doesn't care about Black children. She's not us. She's a red dot Indian who was raised a significant amount of time in Canada, mixed with a daddy born in Jamaica, Irish and Indian. She's a cosplaying, pretending chameleon, an Indian-raised woman trying her best to act like an American Black woman by associating herself with the Black Divine Nine and HBCUs, the biggest scammer ever. So no, she didn't care because she never saw herself as one of us in the first place. Now listen closely to what Kamala Harris did to this woman. And I want Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, Michael Eric Dyson, fake Tamika Mallory, Angela Rye. I want y'all to respond to this.
But honestly, I didn't imagine it could affect me. Her teachers had her medical records from the Children's Hospital. I even had a 504 plan, which was an agreement between the school district and the parents to provide care for students with disabilities. It was April 18th, 2013, in the morning. I'm in my pajamas. I had just fed my daughter, gave her her medication, sent her off to school. Little did I know, there was a warrant out for my arrest. All of a sudden, the police is outside my house, and they started banging on the door. I opened up my door, and 2 officers entered my home. They told me I was under arrest for my child missing school. They said I was going to jail. I was shocked. I said, but my baby is sick. The school knows that. And they said, go talk to Kamala Harris. Place your hands behind your back.
My mom did nothing wrong. We did everything we were supposed to. I was always bringing doctor's notes, always calling the school to let them know that I was in the hospital.
Then they handcuffed me. So they take me outside for what you call a perp walk. And oh my God, the TV news was there. The newspapers were there. You could swear I had killed somebody. It was degrading and humiliating. I was taken to the Criminal Justice Center. They took my mugshot. I was fingerprinted like a criminal, and I was terrified.
And it felt like I caused her so much pain because in reality, it is because of me, even though I know it's not directly my fault.
Man, this is horrible. She's blaming herself for what Kamala did to them. No, this was not her fault. She was a disabled child. Kamala knew this and went after them anyway. Why? Because the pretending chameleon was a woman with an agenda and aspirations of being president dating back to 2008. Kamala used them in California to humiliate them for political gain. She targeted and criminalized them, something she won't even do to illegal immigrants. Remember, Kamala said she would decriminalize illegal immigration, but she was out there in California searching for charges to put on Black people. That's your so-called progressive prosecutor. Yeah, they love talking about this fake record that she's so proud of, but they never bring up the thousands of cases like this.
Sorry.
The next day, the Orange County Register showed the pictures of my arrest. They even had a close-up picture of my hands in handcuffs to show here's a Black mother being arrested.
It was a truancy rate at over 2.5 times that of white students.
Everyone knew most truant kids were Black. I think Kamala Harris wanted me as an example to threaten other single Black mothers, like, this can happen to you if you don't get your kids in class. The police even put out a press release naming me and other Black single mothers like Toya Daniels, who got arrested the same day. But my hell was just beginning. They gave me 2 charges: failure to supervise and encourage school attendance and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I couldn't believe it. They framed my daughter as a gang member and basically charged me with neglect. I spent the next 2 years in court fighting these charges. Kamala assigned her nastiest prosecutors to my case.
my homicide prosecutors, my gang prosecutors. And they went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean.
Like 10 different prosecutors. They kept pressuring me to plead guilty and spend a year in jail. But I kept refusing because I did nothing wrong. All the time I had to spend going to court, I was struggling to care for my Shayla. I lost my job and couldn't pay rent, and we got evicted. I became homeless. We had to move into a motel.
And I ended up being in the hospital a lot during her trial. And in that hospital stay was when I had my stroke.
Think about it. Her child was already fighting sickle cell. Then they had to fight Kamala for over 2 years, putting them in a position that caused way more stress on both of them, especially the child. More stress placed on her body from Kamala targeting them and trying to send her only caregiver to jail for no real reason. That's how she ended up having a stroke, which ended up causing permanent damage.
I had a stroke about 4 or 5 days ago, and right now I'm doing pretty good. My hand is doing okay, I guess.
In 2015, after 2 years, they finally just gave up and dismissed my case. In 2018, the Supreme Court of California ruled that truancy cannot be punished by incarceration. It was unconstitutional. The courts finally stopped Kamala Harris' abuses. When I look back, I ask, why did Kamala Harris arrest me? Why was Kamala Harris so insensitive to a Black woman with a handicapped child? Well, first, I learned that Kamala Harris has no common experience with Black people. She grew up with an Indian mother. I remember she kept saying she was Indian.
To become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
What we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
And I learned she grew up in Canada, not in the United States, and went to a wealthy high school. I think in Canada, she must not have been exposed to American values, which respects the rights of individuals. When Kamala Harris ran for president in 2019, they asked her about arresting people like me, and she just lied her ass off.
The truancy program got a lot of criticism too. Did you actually lock anybody up?
No, we never locked anybody up.
Look, right there on the Breakfast Club, lying to millions of Black people. Once again, Kamala, she's been lying on Black national radio now for the last 6 years. And all these folks protecting her and lying for her, spreading disinformation every day, none of them can be trusted. They are constantly bringing people on the Breakfast Club to lie for Kamala. Ricky Smiley is lying for Kamala. Steve Harvey and D.L. Hughley. You know, the Q-Dogs run the radio according to Steve Harvey. Yeah, they're running lies for Kamala. Wonder if they will care for this real Black American woman and protect her like they protect this Indian lady cosplaying as a Black American woman.
We never sent a parent to jail, and no parent went to jail. And we did prosecute some cases, but far few, only about 20.
It's ironic because Kamala helped raise money to bail out murderers, rioters, and thieves. But she thought I belonged in jail because I had a handicapped child. To me, Kamala is fake. She just repeats stupid things like unburdened.
What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
I found out she only became Attorney General because she was a mistress to the married San Francisco Mayor, Willie Brown. And today I see she tries appealing to Black audiences by putting on fake urban accents.
And we're going to do it again in 2024.
Black people are very down to earth. This is insulting to us.
You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Kamala, how stupid do you think we are? And I saw Kamala's Twitter photo. That's from like 20 years ago. She's 60 years old today. Even with the heavy makeup, you can see she's 60. I've seen her pretending to be talking on the phone, avoiding the press. She's a terrible actress. She was calling young people stupid.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24?
They are stupid.
With Kamala, we can't even say Merry Christmas.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
The laugh is so insincere.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. and yeah, I am radical.
All this woke and radical stuff doesn't do anything for me as a single Black mother. All it got me was inflation that hurt me and my kids. Grocery store prices are crazy. I can't pay for food on my income.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
Black people has been in America for 400 years, but Kamala pushes us to the back of the line behind illegals. Why? As borders are. She just filling up our schools with kids who don't speak English just so they can get more government money. Illegals get free health care, but I have to pay. They get free housing, and I'm struggling to pay rent.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
And it's more dangerous in our neighborhood. We don't need Venezuelan gangs.
To this day, at 22 years old, I suffer from full paralysis on my right arm and partial in my right leg.
Kamala Harris owes me an apology and my daughter an apology for what she did to us.
Let's be clear, my values have not changed.
Look, I am not a political person, but I want people to know what Kamala Harris has did to me. If she do it to me, she will abuse anyone if you give her the power.
Absolutely crazy. The permanent damage was caused by that stroke brought on from the stress of Kamala fighting them in court over these bogus charges. And get this, Kamala ran that office. She's the one who put this out here to prosecute them. And no, this was not the only woman. She had a bunch of cases like this, mostly Black women, but also Black fathers. It's very disgusting what she did to these folks in California. And the only way she's combating her horrible record is to send these shills out lying and referring to us as N-words, saying what we need to know, while acting like they're fighting for justice for Black people at the same time. Where's Angela Rye, Tamika Mallory, Jamel Hill? I dare you to call this misinformation. Charlamagne, why didn't you interview Shayla and her mother? I dare you to call Miss Peoples and Shayla misinformation. Ricky Smiley, I dare you to call this a lie. You said she didn't lock anybody up. Why don't you get on the radio and tell everybody you lied and talk about what your sorority sister really did to these Black people right here? Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Let me know what you think about this below. Special thank you to Roland C.
Kamala Harris, you are as fake as press-on nails, and I can see right through you. Let me help you out with something, because maybe somebody must not have told you. I'm on TV and on every interview, giving the same tired answer. So let me just help you out. When you are asked a question, why don't you try answering the question? People are not stupid. We can tell when you're dancing around the issue instead of answering the question. When you're asked, are people better off now or during Donald Trump's presidency? When you're asked about the border or your policies on immigration, answer the question. We don't care about your middle class upbringing. We don't care that your mama had to save up to buy a house. We don't care about your summer job at McDonald's. We don't care about the lawns of the neighborhood that you lived in and how everybody took care of their lawn. That does not matter to me, and it doesn't matter to anybody else. I want you to answer the question. Because if people, my mind is already made up too, Kamala, because I can see right through you and I know that you fake. But for somebody else whose mind is not made up, let me just help you out. Answer the question so that they can decide between you and your opponent. I don't know if you're just trying to paint him as the villain and try to skate by to be the, like you the hero or a nice person. We don't care about that, because being a hero and voting for the nice person is not what pays the bills. You understand what I'm saying? We can see through you. And that fake Black accent that you keep doing, girl, you need to stop, because you know good and well that you ain't got no Black accent. You know good and well that you was born in you was from San Francisco and in
She
Canada.
cooking her.
Where you
She
get that black
cooking
accent
her.
from? Stop doing that, trying to be relatable. This does not make you relatable. It makes you look fake. And those of us like me, we can see through that. We can see through that. We can see through every interview that you do, that instead of answering the questions that are on the minds of the millions of American people who have the power to elect you to the highest office in the land, you're dancing around the issue. And you want to talk about how you was born a middle-class kid and how your mother had to save up to buy a house. I don't care, Kamala. So just to recap, stop dancing around the issue. Answer the question. If you're going to do an interview, answer a question that you are asked at the interview.
Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Somebody said exactly what I was thinking. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. I'm Van. We are all the LFR family. Please do me a favor, hit the like button. That's the only price of admission for my live streams, to simply hit that like button. And if you're feeling extra generous, hit that share button below the video, copy the link, share it on Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook, X. Make sure you tag me on X so I can show you some love. This lady broke down every single thing I believed I said in my last live stream. I was letting her know, Kamala, people are paying attention to politics now. We're not going for the BS, being all cutesy-wootsy and laughing all the time and trying to make jokes and sorors and changing your voice and all those things. Bruh, your time is running out. You literally have 47 days. 47 days. Huh? 47. For you to say something with some substance and answer a daggone question, because people are calling you out. And even Oprah Winfrey, the question was, I'm about to play it for y'all right now. I was going to make y'all wait, but I'm not. Let me go ahead and play it now. That lady just now got busy. I don't know who she is. I'm going to show y'all her face one more time so y'all can just, you know what I mean? This lady was putting down exactly what we were all thinking for a long time. This young lady right here, what's her daggone name, man? I got this from Tony. I don't know this daggone channel. This does not say what this lady name is, but yeah, I apologize. Hold on one second. Yeah, usually a TikTok sign or something comes up. I want to show her some love, but I don't know who this lady is. But you was on point. If this lady ever sees this video, you killed it. You said every single thing that every single one of us, myself and most other people inside of my chat right now are thinking. And if you're a Democrat inside the chat, listen, it's tell me just say whatever's on your mind. Say whatever's on your heart. I want to hear what you got to say. All right. So she was on Oprah Winfrey, right? Oprah Winfrey did this big event tonight, you know, because they're trying to get Kamala some press. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Kamala some press. Because she refuses to have any interviews with anyone that's not going to be a softball interview, right? So here was this one opportunity. A black man came up to the microphone and asked her a question. She wanted to have a town hall type of thing. This brother asked her, what will you do about the border? What will you do about the border? This was her answer. I promise you can't make this. You cannot make this stuff up. And watch how Oprah Winfrey tries to give her a better way to answer it. And she still, oh my God, word salad. Somebody take out the Caesar dressing, please. Here we go. Vinaigrette. I'll take some apple vinaigrette. Okay, here we go.
It gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Right. Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that bill.
Hold on. Before she fixes that, what the hell is she talking? My answer is I want to create solutions. He asked you, what will you do for the border? It takes a leader to start leadering and lead other peoples to become leaders. And you got to grab them by the bootstraps and grab them and caress them and get some Diddy oils. You don't need no Diddy oils. Answer the daggone question. Answer the question. The question was, look, the question was, what will you do for the border? Word salad, I promise. I'm not going to stop it this time. I'm just going to play it all the way through. It's just getting on my nerves. I apologize. It's just getting on my daggone nerves, man.
Gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people?
Thank you, Dave.
Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
What will you do about the border? Let's fix problems. Because back when I was an attorney, I was all about fixing problems. What happened when you was the daggone VP? Huh? Were you fixing problems then? Or you just want to skip that time, huh? Then you just want to skip that time? Okay, we're not going to talk. We're going to act like that never happened,
she not
okay?
president.
Just like we're going to act like you became the nominee
They all
legally.
pretended like
you
she
didn't.
not in office.
Okay, I'm not even going to talk about that. Okay, here we go.
Answer Justin's question. Now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
Lady, you the vice president right now, and you got more power than Biden because he's a lame duck. When I get to the White House, you're in the White House. You have a wing in the White House, ma'am. What the hell are you talking about? That's where you stay too, now.
And he clapped like that was the answer to my question. I asked you, what will you do for the border? And she talking about when there's a problem, you got to find the problem, and we all got to come together as leaders, and we got to fix the problem. Back when I was an attorney, I fixed problems. She skipped the 3.5 years of being a VP. And she says, oh, wait a minute, let's answer Justin's question. The bill that has not passed, will you put that into law? Yes, thank you, Oprah. I appreciate that. I forgot my line, and you just now brought it back to me. I appreciate it. You sent me the questions before I came here. I should have remembered them, but I got so many things going on with me right now. Girl, I'm trying to run for president, and they all making fun of me, and I can't remember my lines.
Oprah don't want to put no money behind this lady.
That's all that was. Oprah Winfrey was reminding her of her lines. That's it. If you hear a question about the border, you're supposed to say that when I become president on day one, I'm going to sign that bill. That's what they were supposed to say. That's the game that they're supposed to play. They're not supposed to answer any questions. On day one, thank you, Oprah. I really appreciate you throwing me that softball because you saw me. I was out there. I was drowning. Until you sent me a boat to come save my life, Oprah. You saved me, Oprah. That's exactly what Oprah tried to do, and she still failed. Why won't Biden do it now? How about that one? Is Biden still living? Blink twice if you are in danger. I promise you, man, she's a daggone robot. Why are people voting for her? How come the polls are saying that a lot of people are considering voting for her? She don't know what the hell to do. And we're going to put the keys of the most powerful country in the world in her hands, bro. Was I just now aired? Okay, that's from a movie. Okay, never mind. All right. So I really wanted to show that to y'all, man. Did y'all know that Ron DeSantis was trying to get help from the FBI to help solve this case of the second attempt on Trump's life, right? First of all, let me acknowledge, listen, people are showing off with the super chats. Thank you so much for the super chat, YouTube user. I really appreciate it. And Big Wave Dave, I appreciate it. Sooner for now says, keep it informing the people, Van. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Big Wave Dave, thank you so much for the support, big dog. It says, I keep asking this question. How did so many say Biden needed to get rid of her? She was the least popular VP. Then she became the pick without an election. Now, all of a sudden, she is the savior? No, it's all Trump derangement syndrome issues and dumb sheeple. How is the race even close? It's close because people are demonic and they're moving away from God. That's why it's close. People are demonic and they're moving away from God. That's it. And they are falling for the okie doke. And they're making it about race. They're making it about sex. They're making it about everybody should get everything that we got. Why should we just be the lucky ones? Everyone should have this. And we're like, who gonna pay for it? Oh, y'all should pay for it. We're like, hell no, ain't nobody, no, I'm not paying for a damn thing. This is your party. If this is your ball, then you need to be paying for it. I'm not paying for that. You better kick rocks in your goddamn on socks, Jack. Thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate that. Debris Ball 420. They need to pass HR2, the Secure the Border Act. Secure the goddamn border. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. All right, so Ron DeSantis said that he's trying to get the help of the FBI. They're trying to get in front of his investigations every step of the way. And I really want y'all to hear this right here because I find a cause of concern for this. I don't know why anybody would want to get in the way of justice for somebody trying to take out the president. Makes absolutely no sense to me. But check this out.
Governor, I want to turn to another topic.
See, people could play games all they want. Ron DeSantis, Rick Perry, all this ICC for man. This is the federal government squash all that state BS whenever they get ready, and they finna teach Ron DeSantis. You ain't investigating nothing, boy. We saying we investigating. Then they arrest his ass if he don't stand down because they not finna let anybody get in the way with telling the truth about what's happening to Trump or stopping their future assassination attempts.
Topic because we were relieved to hear that you are doing your own independent investigation
trying to run for president
in Florida concerning the second assassination attempt on President Trump. My question to you tonight is, are the feds being cooperative with your investigation? Are you concerned that you're not getting the information you need?
The answer is no, they're not being cooperative. Yes, I am concerned. I mean, for example, we were rebuffed. Our investigators were rebuffed. His
investigators were rebuffed. Come on, man. How did I know that and he didn't know? He running a scam to get back in the good graces of the Trump supporters so he can run next time. He knew damn well he wasn't going to be able to. I'm going to investigate at the same time the feds investigating. It sounds good until the feds tell you ain't investigating nothing. We got all the evidence. People talking about it happened in Florida. Man, Florida is a part of the United States. All that. This is the state of Florida. That sounds good until the federal government step in. People really must don't know how this shit go, bro. And I told y'all on my live when they said Ron DeSantis was running an investigation. I told y'all, I said, man, the feds gonna supersede that, man. They're not gonna let this man get in their business.
Going to the fence line outside of Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. And so I think they've taken the position, they don't want the state of Florida to be involved in this. But here's the thing. There were multiple violations of Florida law across multiple jurisdictions. We think at least 3 judicial circuits. This guy, Ryan Routh, committed potential violations of Florida law. So we have a duty to investigate this. We have a duty to bring the appropriate charges. And we also have a duty to inform the public about how this happened. So I don't anticipate they're being cooperative. I think that they've just taken that position. And I think that that's unfortunate because even though I've been very clear, state of Florida is going to do an investigation. I've not disputed their right to also investigate. It's the federal government. He was in their protective custody as a presidential candidate. But let us do this. So hopefully that tune will change. But I can tell you right now, Laura, we have not gotten a lot of receptive response.
Very disturbing. By the way, we have Ruth's mugshot, where he looks to be slightly smirking.
He's just talking, bro. He's just talking. They had this dude in their custody. They didn't have to turn this dude over to the feds. If he was serious about taking the federal government on, he could say, hell no, he's staying in our custody. We're going to question him, and then we'll turn him over to y'all when we done. He ain't going to say that. They are tough right now. Man, please, they would indict his ass and lock him up. You know that. He just want Trump supporters to think he's trying to get to the bottom of something.
He's a very strange individual, to say the least, but we've heard other FBI agents, former agents, governors say they think it's quite odd that in the first assassination attempt and the second assassination attempt, there's almost an immediate response from the feds saying that, oh, looks like he's acted alone, or we really don't know what the motives are here. Oh, does that strike you as slightly strange, to say the least?
Yeah, I don't think the public has confidence when that is being done. So as soon as we got word of this on Sunday, I told our guys in state law enforcement, save all his social media, because Facebook will delete it. The tech companies want to delete it.
Right.
Get his digital trail, store that, because we need to know, how did he end up in Florida to begin with? What is this pathway this guy has taken to end up in those bushes trying to assassinate the former president of the United States and current Republican nominee? How did that happen? And we have not gotten answers about Butler. We haven't gotten answers about things like the Las Vegas shooting from many years.
Okay, they're showing guns now. All right, so when they start showing guns, my daggone videos get limited. That gets on my daggone nerves. I don't like that. But this whole story it kind of, I want to have faith in the government. I do. I'm gonna let you know right now that I don't. This channel is not here just to support the right and to bash the left. I really want the truth of what's going on. I want this country to be the best it could ever be and the best it's ever been. I want there to be a future for our children and our children's children. I want us to do things God's way. I want us all to flourish. I want us all to thrive. I want us all to be able to have the rights and everything that people, our ancestors have bled and died for, whether you're white, black, or other. All right? I want us all to win. I know that's la la land, and that's never going to happen. We're already too divided as a country, but I think things can get better. I choose to take the optimistic way of thinking, but when you look at how things are going, unfortunately, they aren't there. You can't really be too optimistic about too much going on in this country, unfortunately. All right. So I want as many people to start paying close attention to what's going on and ask the tough questions. Even if you're around your friends, your relatives, your coworkers, I want y'all to have these conversations, man. Find out what's on their minds. And don't be afraid to rep your set. Like if you walking around with MAGA or Trump support, or if you walking around with Kamala support on you and you got hats or shirts, man, do your thing. Start the conversation. And if somebody start to go the dangerous route and want to throw hands with you, I will say try to avoid that at all costs. But take care of yourself, exercise, and stay dangerous so that you don't have to bow down to anybody. If it ever came down to it, you don't want to be the victim. All right? You want to be on the other side, period. Defend yourself. But also continue to fight and defend the rights of everybody else that lives in this country. That's just how I look at things. All right? Love y'all, man. Thank
Okay, what's going on, everybody? We are here. We're live. I want to thank you all for joining me today. If you can see and hear me clearly, please drop a 1 in the live chat, and then we can get today's stream started. And as I'm waiting for the ones to come in, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does, that it helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get their notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm as well. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news live edition. Today's news live edition. Today, right? Or I should say next, if you're coming off of the last today's news live edition, I want to take a moment to discuss the new data that has come out through CNN, in which they reported that Kamala Harris is indeed in the danger zone. She is indeed in the danger zone as far as polling is concerned. And as it pertains to her chances of winning, honestly, she is more likely to lose than win. I think we all knew this and understand this to be true already, but it's another thing when CNN has such a grim moment in which they're breaking the news to Kamala herself. At this point in the game, Kamala Harris is running a campaign essentially on a wish and a prayer. She's running this campaign on a wish and a prayer because the reality is that realistically, there is no hope. I want to get into this first portion of the video here and unpack it a little bit once they make their statement concerning how Kamala Harris is faring in the battleground states post ABC debate, which was a 3-on-1 debate, three people, Kamala Harris and the ABC moderators versus Donald Trump. How is she faring now? Let's see. Let's find out.
Making me very nervous. All right, Harry, talk to us about what the states look like, the battleground states.
Yeah, so look, this is about the Electoral College, right? So let's take a look at the average margin. Nationally, Harris is ahead in the average poll by 2.5 points. But look in those 7 key battleground states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Harris is only ahead by 0.3 points, John. So the bottom line is, in those 7 key battleground states, it's a significantly tighter race than it is nationally, John.
So Al Gore and Hillary Clinton are calling right now, Harry, asking what the chances are that Harris could win the popular vote but lose in the Electoral College.
Okay, so
before he answers that, I just want to take a quick moment to go back to this. And I'm going to make it full screen, right? Let's take a look at this for a moment. She's only up in the battleground states by 0.3 points. 0.3 points. Ladies and gentlemen, Kamala Harris doesn't stand a chance. She literally doesn't stand a chance. Post-debate, with it being a team up of 3-on-1, and even with the DNC and Kamala getting exactly what they wanted as it pertained to a scathing soundbite, right? They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. They got the soundbite that they were looking for to run on Hyperloop and push it forward to say this is why Donald Trump lost because he's a madman and so on and so forth. The DNC supporters doing victory laps on social media saying that Donald Trump got crushed by Kamala Harris. None of it worked. It all failed and it blew up in their faces. And the reason that I believe, right, the reason that there hasn't been any positive change in polling for Kamala, she's actually sliding back. She's falling backwards is because I believe that the American people actually see through the foolishness. As it pertains to the debate, that was Kamala Harris's time to shine. Everyone knows Trump. We've lived through a Trump presidency already. We all know and can attest to the fact that life under Trump was significantly better and, more importantly, more affordable under Trump than it was under Biden and Harris. So this was Harris's time to really sell herself, and she didn't. She didn't sell herself at all in the debate. Instead, what happened is that it turned into a 3-on-1 bully fest in which you had the DNC attempting to bully Trump. Kamala needed to win that debate outright to convince the people in the battleground states and undecideds that she is the one that everyone should be voted for. And she failed miserably at it. Failed miserably, even with all of the help from ABC. That's why you see the polling the way it is. And she's sliding and falling back. 0.3 points in 7 key battleground states. Nationally, she's only up plus 2.5. It's over with, ladies and gentlemen. It's over before it even started. But let's carry on and let's let I forget his name, but let's let the CNN reporter carry on discussing just how poorly she's doing in polling.
Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Harris is only ahead by 0.3 points, John. So the bottom line is, in those 7 key battleground states, it's a significantly tighter race than it is nationally, John.
So Al Gore and Hillary Clinton are calling right now, Harry, asking what the chances are that Harris could win the popular vote but lose in the Electoral College.
Okay, so basically, you note that 2.5 point lead nationally here, right? Okay, Harris's chances, if she wins the popular vote by 2 to 3 points, the chance she wins the Electoral College is only 53%.
That's where she is right now. That's where she is right now. At the moment, she's at a 53% chance of winning. At the moment. But wait, there's more.
The bottom line is, once you have to get all the way north to about 3 to 4 points for Harris to have a clear chance, the clear majority chance of winning the Electoral College. If she only wins by less than 2, look at that. Only a 23% chance of winning. Right now, Harris is right now in that danger zone where basically about half the time, given that popular vote margin nationally, she would win. And so here's the situation. Chance Harris wins the popular vote at this point is about 70%. But the chance she wins the Electoral College is only about 50%. So the bottom line is, at this hour, John, there's about a 20% chance that Kamala Harris wins the popular vote, but actually loses in the Electoral College. So we could be heading towards one of these splits that we saw in 2016 and in 2000, whereby one candidate, Kamala Harris, wins in the popular vote, but loses in the Electoral College. Basically, at this hour, we're right in that sort of weird middle zone where we honestly don't know what's going to happen based upon the popular vote. And that is why those national polls that show Kamala Harris ahead at this point really don't matter that much.
Even CNN had to give it up. At this point, all the polling that MSNBC and so many other Democrats love to carry and champion as being Kamala Harris on her way to a victory. Look, she's up 2.5 points. She's up 2.5 points. Even on CNN, they're telling you. Doesn't mean anything. It literally means nothing. Because as it pertains to the Electoral College, she's at a 50% chance of winning. And if Donald Trump performs the way he always performs every election, in which he outperforms the polls, which he does consistently every election, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a bloodbath. Trust me, guys, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be bad. And it's probably going to be one of the most embarrassing and humiliating defeats that we've seen in election history in this country, if we're being completely honest at this point. She doesn't stand a chance. Biden was up, I believe, 9 points, right? 9 points ahead of Trump, and Biden barely won. Hillary Clinton was up 5 points, if I remember correctly, on Donald Trump. And she just lost. Being up only 2.5 points against Donald Trump, bloodbath. Bloodbath, guys. Trust me, it's going to be a bloodbath, okay? It's going to be a bloodbath. And with all that being said, man, that does it for
This is a real odd story coming out. Mystery as Trump rally attendees report bizarre eye-burning symptoms post-event. Now, this happened about a week ago, or a little over a week ago, and I'm surprised we're just now hearing about it. These articles about this story are now just being published today, but I guess there's so much going on in the world, only so many stories can be reported at one time. But it says, one rally goer said, medical staff told her that her symptoms seemed to suggest that she'd been sprayed with something. Now, I am reading this article from The Independent. Again, it has been published today, but the article says, Donald Trump's rally in Tucson, Arizona, last week has now been shrouded in mystery after several attendees claimed to suffer from bizarre eye-burning symptoms in the aftermath of the event. Now, I do wonder if this is trying to scare people from attending his events, because I need my eyes. I'm a gamer, I'm a YouTuber, I need my eyes. Your eyes are probably the most important thing you have outside the vital organs that are keeping you alive. Now listen to this, because I always latch onto the strange and bizarre numerology that always seems to appear in these strange and bizarre stories. If it's not 33, it's 6. 6 rally goers who are all sat in the section directly behind Trump during the Thursday, September 12th rally told News 4 that they had to seek medical attention after experiencing eye irritation. Now, as you can see, there are a good amount of people sitting behind Trump on both sides. This side over here to the left are the ones who had received eye irritation, but it was only 6 people out of this group of people who had eye irritation. Now, what I don't understand is, and one would think that if something was indeed sprayed into the air, it would affect more than just 6 people in this row right here, unless it had affect people that were sitting in the front of this row, is the only thing that I can make sense of. Or there were more people that had this eye irritation, they went to the hospital and they do not wish to speak out, because there are people that did have the eye irritation and they are speaking out, but they do wish to remain anonymous. Continuing to read from the article, it says, one woman, pro-life activist Mayra Rodriguez, said that she was in so much pain in the morning after the campaign event that she needed to constantly use a cold cloth on her eyes. Mayra is quoted as saying, I can't see anything when I try to open my eyes, she explained. I see a bright light, it hurts a lot to open my eyes. I have this cold cloth I put on and take off constantly, it's horrible. That is absolutely scary. Like I said, I am a complete hypochondriac when it comes to my vision. If I get a floater that was never there before, or I get double vision, or my eyesight gets a little blurrier, I suddenly think the worst. You have to wonder if that was the point of this story, to scare people from attending his rallies. Now, I'm not saying that this never happened, I'm not saying that, but maybe something did indeed happen to these people to scare off other people. You never know, right? Like, who really wants to hear that people are attending rallies? And it could be anybody's rally. It could be Trump's rally or Kamala Harris's rally or somebody else. That people are attending these rallies and something is happening to their eyes, to the point they're in so much pain, they are requesting to go to the ER. And when they go to the ER, the doctors are telling them, did something get sprayed into your eye? They check their eyes and they say, well, we cannot find any evidence that anything was sprayed into your eyes. Yes, you do have a problem, but we cannot diagnose the problem. This is indeed what the ER doctors are saying. They are saying that they do have symptoms that something was sprayed into their eyes. They just can't find any evidence or any traces of whatever this was. Continuing to read from the article, it says, Rodriguez thought she was just suffering from allergies. But Rodriguez is quoted as saying, as soon as we left and we stepped outside, my eyes were burning. But by the time she reached her home near Phoenix, a 90-minute drive from Tucson, Rodriguez decided she needed to visit the emergency room. There, medical staff asked her if she had been exposed to some sort of substance, as her symptoms seemed to suggest she had been sprayed with something. Medical staff were unable to determine the cause of her symptoms, and her vision had begun to improve by Tuesday, suggesting her blindness is not permanent, News 4 reported. Continuing to read from the article, it says, a brother and sister who had been sat near Rodriguez at the rally but did not want to be unidentified reported similar symptoms to the local outlet, all focused on my eyes. My eyes were red like hell, you know. It's unbearable. The brother said, I couldn't handle it. Now, this individual's sister actually reported different symptoms. She said her eyes were watering and nose was running before she started feeling flushed, and as if her neck was on fire. A third woman, a realtor, who also wished to be anonymous, said she had to cancel all her shows over the weekend because her vision was so poor. The rally marked the former president's first since his debate against Kamala Harris 2 days before. I guess this article is kind of hinting to when Kamala Harris said, nobody attends your rallies, or nobody will attend your rallies, something along those lines. But anyway, the article continues to say, Rodriguez said to the outlet that she had contacted the Trump campaign describing her symptoms and was told it would investigate the reports. So a Secret Service spokesperson spoke out and told The Independent that there had been no threat to the former president. No threat was identified at the rally, where agents stood next to Trump throughout the event. Therefore, the agency has not launched an investigation into the reports, they said. The Trump campaign has been collecting information, the Trump campaign told News 4. We remain committed to the countless patriots that attend our high-energy, high-impact rallies across the country. Now, so far, everybody that has been to the ER was told we cannot identify what's happening to you. We cannot diagnose you. You have to go home and rest and hope you get better. The article ends with, the Secret Service had not been made aware of the reports, but had no concern for the former president's safety, News 4 reported. The article also ends with, this comes only days after the bizarre second attempt that was made on Donald Trump's life. Really, really bizarre. I wonder if these are going to be the stories coming out in the future, that something is happening to people at these rallies where we're not going to have people afraid of attending rallies. His next rally, I believe, is September 23rd in Pennsylvania. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm reading here, that his next rally will be September 23rd. And it'll be rather interesting to hear more reports of people being injured at these rallies. But yeah, I do want to hear from you. What do you believe happened to these people? Please do comment in the comment section below. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel,
state of Pennsylvania now all tell. So I'll ask you this question. Why are the New York Times, Axios Media, the Detroit Free Press, I'm running USA Today, and the state of Pennsylvania now all telling us that we will not have a presidential winner on election night? I'll answer this one for you. They are conditioning us to get ready for a post-election turmoil in the United States, dare I say a civil war. Just so you understand, the media did this to us in 2020. They laid the groundwork for this election, for the 2020 election as well, telling us not to expect a winner on that evening. I mean, it was stunning. Hold strong. Hold strong. Don't worry about it. Your boy Biden will eventually come out on top. This was the New York Times in 2020. How the media could get the election story wrong. We may not know the results for days, maybe weeks, the New York Times warned us. So it's time to rethink election night. This was back in 2020. Here is The Guardian in 2020, warning us then, will the U.S. media call the right winner on election night? Don't count on it. We can't rely on the media to call the election fairly. Here's what we need to know about it. And in fact, we all went to bed that night. America, United States of America, went to bed that night. The polls closed. Right? This is bedtime. Polls closed. Americans going to bed. See that there? Closed. Polls are closed. Polls are closed. Reporting in 59% of precincts, 64% of precincts, 83% of precincts, 94% of precincts reporting. Polls closed across America. Look at those numbers. 54% Michigan, Pennsylvania, 57 to 41%. Georgia, 53 to 46%. 54 to 44%, 51. I mean, those numbers are pretty staggering. So America goes to bed, and surprise, 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 surprise. Like my favorite Instagram meme.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise. The clock,
wasn't it?
It was. The clock struck midnight. Donald Trump was leading in all of those battleground states. Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and then, well, something happened. What happened? Well, as LifeSite News explained in a great analysis piece, overnight on election night, the numbers flipped. Of course, Joe Biden, a candidate who struggled to attract even, modest crowds at that point to his rallies, somehow garnered the most votes in American history. Look at how the liberal USA Today even showed Biden rallies. Notice the date on this, right before Election Day. Look at that. Scenes from Joe Biden's 2020 campaign rallies. That's the photo they chose to lead it off.
Okay.
Here's another Biden rally. Look at this. Look at all these excited people at a Biden rally. One guy so excited he's a reporter sitting there on a computer. There's like 5 people who are not related to Biden. Look at the Secret Service agents, and then Jill Biden, and then like 4 people.
That guy's probably a reporter.
And the other guy with a laptop is another reporter. Anyway, and then it's amazing. And it really is amazing. On election night, Joe Biden received 81 million votes, a staggering 15 million more votes than Hillary Clinton did just 4 years earlier, more than President Obama. Again, more votes than any American president in history. He is a hero. I mean, he's my hero. 81 million votes. How do you pull that off? It is amazing. You can see the excitement in these voters' faces right behind all these COVID masks. You can see their excitement. So now the media are doing it again. Now it's called preconditioning. Just so you understand preconditioning, it's the same way that President Obama's production company produced and released a movie last year called Civil War. That's called preconditioning. Yes, Obama's production company behind this Ethan Hawke film, and what's her name? Jessica.
I'm pretty sure that's Julia Roberts.
Julia
Roberts. You're the
Jessica.
worst at this.
Oh my God. I forgot.
Jessica, I'm sure, is her cousin, I think.
Jessica Roberts. Yeah.
I just made that up.
Jessica Rabbit. So that's preconditioning. Don't take my word for it, though. Listen to what the New York Times just published this week on what to expect on election night. This is New York Times this week. Harris or Trump, once again, election results could take a while. More Americans are using mail-in ballots, which takes longer to count than those cast in person. In several battleground states, a winner may not be apparent on November 5th. Of course. Quote, there will be no clear and immediate winner on election night, says the New York Times, and that early returns could give a false impression of who will ultimately prevail.
You know where this sounds so familiar? I'm thinking Germany, Pakistan. In recent history, this has been happening where the people's candidate, they go to bed and that candidate is winning, and then overnight something happens. It's just, this sequel sucks. I've heard this one before. I've read this one before. This is being well played.
Yeah, you've seen this movie before. Someone in the chat on a Rumble says that the Civil War movie, I didn't see it, so I'm not going to watch that movie. I'm not giving any money to the Obama production company from watching that movie, but someone said that movie, Civil War movie, was just a lame movie about Trump derangement syndrome. So there will be no clear and immediate winner, the New York Times says. Well, they're not the only ones. Time Magazine. Why we might not know the winner on election night. So Time Magazine also getting in on the liberal action here. Remember, you have to remember the New York Times, Time Magazine, CBS News. They're frankly mouthpieces of the deep state, the CIA. As we've had an FBI whistleblower here on the show explain to us that if they ever want to leak information, fake stories, plant stories into the media, they first go to the New York Times, the Washington Post, Time Magazine also on that list. They just funnel these stories to these liberal magazines and liberal newspapers and get this message out there. That's what they do. So these are just this is all part of an agenda. Time Magazine, why we might not know the winner on election night. Axios, 2020 deja vu all over again. Why the 2024 election, it could take days to call, Axios says. Here's what Axios says more deeply. It's a near guarantee that Donald Trump will declare victory the night of November 5th, and the margin won't matter, Axios says. It won't matter whether he's accurate and he's actually won or whether he was defeated soundly. Quote, I think we should absolutely expect the super spreaders of disinformation will parrot the lies about the election in the immediate aftermath. That's what Axios says. And not to be outdone, the state of Pennsylvania, a battleground state, my home state, the Keystone State, Pennsylvania, 19 electoral votes. I would argue it's more important than any other swing state, not just because it's my home state, but this election cycle, Pennsylvania will determine who wins this presidential race this year. Not Florida, not Ohio, but all eyes on Pennsylvania because of those 19 electoral votes. If President Trump carries that, then those other states and their fewer electoral votes really don't matter from a swing state perspective. All eyes on Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania publishing this, letting us know Pennsylvania won't always know the final results of all races on election night. Any changes in results that occur as counties continue to count ballots are not evidence that an election is rigged. So Pennsylvania wants to get out in front in this and let you know that Pennsylvania might be too close to call. Probably not on election night. You won't know who won Pennsylvania.
I feel like they should have put the word not necessarily evidence. If they're saying we know already that the election is not rigged and the election has not happened, that's a preordained conclusion that makes me a little nervous. So they're saying we already know, full stop, election's not rigged. Well, hasn't happened yet. Right. So
Right.
let's leave open a possibility of a corruption, given we have a lot of corruption.
What brains in our Rumble chat says, source, trust us.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Right.
So they know into the future the election's not rigged. I don't think anybody can say that with full certainty. Nobody can see the future.
Pennsylvania can.
Okay.
They're warning us all, and you should listen to your liberal media. You should listen to our liberal media. You should listen to all of the liberal media sources like the Detroit Free Press up there in Michigan, also getting in on the bandwagon today. Delay in reporting election results in Detroit, Wayne, and Macomb counties raises concerns. So they're warning us in Michigan that we're going to see delays. So I guess if the deep state keeps trying to kill Trump and can't succeed, they'll have to figure out another way. And that's why they're getting us ready for this election turmoil. Meanwhile, Tucker Carlson just wrote this morning and asks, why are the deep state liberals trying to kill Trump? Here's what Tucker writes. Any political candidate's might can be measured by their opponent's fear of losing to them. First of all, that's a beautiful sentence. Just look at that sentence for a second. Any political candidate's might can be measured by their opponent's fear of losing to them. If the other side thinks you're going to win, then your campaign is going pretty well. Based on the past 2.5 months, it's clear that Donald Trump's opponents know he's going to win. Why else would they have tried to kill him twice? America hasn't seen anything like this in decades, and even though political violence has become bizarrely common, it's worth taking a step back to acknowledge just how sick the people perpetrating it are. There's nothing less democratic than killing off the race's front runner, but they keep trying to do it anyway. And they keep calling Trump a threat to democracy. Peter Doocy asked Karine Jean-Pierre that very question at the White House press briefing. Basically, why are you guys trying to get Trump killed by calling him a threat? Because there are crazy people out there that are listening to you right now. Here was her response.
2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again. And you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat.
President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy.
How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question. The question that you're asking, it is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it, because American people are watching. And to say that from an administration who has consistently condemned political violence, from an administration where the president called the former president and was grateful that he was okay, from an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi, called out and said we need to lower the temperature after the Butler incident. And now for you to make that kind of comment in your question, because your question involved a comment and a statement. And, it is, that is also incredibly dangerous.
So Peter Doocy is dangerous.
Mhm.
So she, a moment ago, calls President Trump a threat to democracy.
Right. And he's saying these are dangerous words. And she said, no, I'm not you.
Well, I don't call him a threat. You just said that President Biden labels him a threat to democracy. At what point are you going to stop using that language that he's a threat to? He was president for 4 years. What threat was there to our democracy? I don't know if you've looked at the country right now, if you've stared at it in the face, but it's been a disaster. So what threat exactly? Could she clarify? But Peter Doocy is the threat to democracy. He's dangerous. And the threats keep on coming. Overnight, we learned that more than 20 Trump supporters at a rally in Tucson who were predetermined to be in this roped off area to shake Trump's hand suddenly came down with a chemical burn. Chemical burns to their eyes. They had to be rushed to the emergency room. What in the world is going on? This was at this Tucson rally just a few days ago. Watch.
More than 2,000 people filled up the Tucson Music Hall Thursday to hear Donald Trump's first speech in Tucson this campaign as Election Day nears. Some of his biggest supporters were allowed to sit behind him on stage, supporters like Myra Rodriguez, a former director of Planned Parenthood with a notable shift to being pro-life. In 2016, she sat behind presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on stage at an event. Now she supports Donald Trump. She enjoyed the rally, but once she left, everything changed.
As soon as we left and I stepped outside, I started feeling like my eyes were burning.
At first, she thought it might be allergies. She lives near Phoenix. By the time she got home, it was so bad she decided to go to the emergency room.
The emergency room staff keeps saying, from the triage nurse to the PA, and are you sure you don't get spray anything? Your symptoms look like you were sprayed something.
The News 4 Tucson investigators spoke to her the morning after the rally, Friday last week. That morning, she was nearly blind.
I can't see anything. When I try to open my eyes, it's like a white cloud covered. It hurts. It hurts a lot to open my eyes. I have this cold cloth that I put on and I take off all the time. But this is horrible.
She says the doctors weren't able to determine what exactly caused it. Her initial thought of allergies went out the window when she heard from several others seated next to her at the rally that also ended up seeking medical attention with the same symptoms.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. Just move on. Someone in our chat just said, nothing to see here. Just move on. So you have an assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania that kills a Trump supporter, right? Yeah, collateral damage to them. You have another attempt in Florida. You have this in Tucson almost simultaneously, or a few days actually prior to what happened in Florida. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. Sources I've spoken with today tell me that someone dusted this area with a chemical agent, and that if they take environmental samples and compare it to the blood work of the victims, they should be able to isolate it and figure out what it was. Someone in the chat is asking, what do you think it was? What kind of chemical? Was it a chlorine gas attack? This is maybe a possibility because that chlorine could carry out similar symptoms like this, but we don't know until someone isolates it and figures it out. So there are 47 days left. How many more times will they try to kill Trump? I mean, it seems like they're going for broke at this point.
Yeah.
What the FBI is calling an apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump yesterday. It's the second attempt in 9 weeks. And in both cases, the individuals were not minorities, undocumented immigrants, or someone from Haiti or Venezuela.
I swear I don't like that catty. Like, okay, I'm talking about an assassination of an ex-president, of a president, right? And I have absolutely no heart, but I work for this big old conglomerate called MSNBC, right? All right? BSNBC or MSDNC, as some of my friends call it. And she can care less. Only thing she wants to do is disqualify every single thing that the conservatives always talking about. Huh? He was no minority. He was no illegal immigrant. He wasn't this. He didn't get no shots off. Okay, let me continue.
Nope. They were white guys with guns. They were both registered Republicans. In fact, the suspect from this weekend's incident, who has been identified as 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Ruth, voted for Trump in 2016 before apparently becoming disillusioned with him. Ruth made his first appearance in a Florida courtroom this morning, charged with illegal possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a weapon with an obliterated serial number. He has an extensive criminal record in North Carolina that includes a 2002 conviction for possessing a weapon of mass destruction, a machine gun. Strangely enough, Ruth was actually interviewed by the New York Times last year about his vocal support for Ukraine in its war against Russia, a war he attempted to fight in, but he says he was rejected by Ukraine's military because he was too old and had no battlefield experience. At a press conference this afternoon, the acting Secret Service director, Ronald Rowe, stated that Ruth never had a line of sight to Trump, nor did he ever fire or get off any shots at the Secret Service. Ruth's motive is still unclear.
Ruth's motive is still unclear. Okay, so this lady called herself a reporter, right? Only thing she had to do was Google, go on to X and just type in Ryan Wesley Ralph or whatever his name is. And you will see that he supported Act Blue for 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. In 2020, he was reaching out to other candidates other than Trump to band together so that Trump could not win. This guy would reach out to anybody. He was completely against Trump. He was completely against anything that he stand for, and he wanted to take him up out of here. But Joy Reid did not want to admit that once. This is what we call propaganda, guys. It's not truthful. We have been teaching people how to grow online. It's been absolutely amazing. We have 3 people who have been able to reach monetization in less than 30 days. Growing YouTube channels, some from 0 people. We have one guy who had 2 subscribers before he started working with me. He started helping him. His views went up. About the responsibility that she holds over her fan base. MSNBC people that watch that show, she don't care about that. Because she left out all of that. Only thing that she added in was things that can support her narrative, things that can support her arguments, past and present. And those are the type of people you don't want to listen to. Joy Reid claimed that all of the danger and debauchery comes from the right. I'm going to show y'all something right quick, man. And the reason why I'm showing this to y'all is because it's important. But Joy, one thing she's doing is she's acting like if it weren't for Trump speaking the way he speaks, then he wouldn't be a target for assassins. That's called victim blaming. That's like saying that a woman, if she didn't dress so scantily clad, if she didn't have such a nice body, then she wouldn't be accosted by creeps who just want to grab on her and take what's not rightfully theirs, right? But I'm not even going to go there because that would get me in probably a lot of trouble, a lot of trouble. But check this out right here. Joy Reid, I want you to watch this and share this with all your goofy Democrat friends, and you tell me who's the most dangerous. Check this out.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be. People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Listen to this.
You see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd.
Okay, so check this out. So far, what I've shown you in this video is not Republicans acting like fools. This is Democrats acting like fools. They are jumping on top of police cruisers, showing blatant disregard for any type of police whatsoever. They are beating up MAGA supporters. I'm talking about punching them in the face, stomping them in the head, swinging on them at the same time. They are jumping MAGA supporters. And they claim that the conservatives are the bad ones. I'm just going to show y'all just a pinch more, just a spoon more.
You push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Chris always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant,
You cannot be civil with a party that want to destroy what you stand for. They want to speak against what you stand for. Okay, you cannot be civil with people who put God and family first. You cannot be civil with people who put our country before we put other countries. You cannot be civil with people who never want to hear homeless and veteran in the same sentence. Check this out right here. Let's play this Chris Cuomo joint, man. Listen to what he has to say. Listen to what he has to say. This channel is not about clickbait. We are trying to get to the bottom of this, right? No Diddy. I mean that, no Diddy, all right? We're trying to get to the bottom of things. We're trying to fix things, all right? That's what we're trying to do. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments, man. Don't forget to like the video.
Where are we caring about one another? Where are we taking care of our own? Where are we pushing to get help? We're leaving people languishing, dying on the streets. What is going on with us? I don't get it. That's why I reached out to Trump. I wanted to just say, listen, I'm really sorry that this is going on and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it. But he doesn't deserve this. A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off.
Joy Reid, did you just now hear that, Joy? Joy Reid, did you just, we take solace in the guy not even getting no rounds off? Let me play that part just one more time, just one more time. That was for you, Joy Reid, who fit that in your little schedule of whatever you was talking about. You wanted to point it out that he didn't even take no shots at him. Why did he even get arrested? Yeah, let's go, Chris.
This is going on, and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it. But he doesn't deserve this. A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off. That does not work for me. If I had been through what that guy's been through in the last 2 months, you would not know where I am. You would never see me on TV again.
And that would be me. Yeah, I heard what he just now said. If he was Trump, he wouldn't be anywhere. I think that Trump should hire his own military, Navy SEAL dudes, private contractor security to protect him. He should hire about 50 guys and get them to dress up in all black if you want, like they did, because Secret Service, they've been bull jiving. Secret Service actually said out their own mouth, the leader of Secret Service now, director of Secret Service, he said that Trump did not tell them that he was going to play golf, so he wasn't supposed to be there anyway. So that's the reason why we didn't go ahead and cover it. That's the reason why. They always know where Trump is. They knew that he was going to play. They knew that he didn't get in the car and just drive off by his daggone self. He didn't do that. That's not what happened. But they're already trying to cover their tail because they are doing exactly what they did back when Tommy, whatever his name is, Crooks took shots at Trump. They weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. They were supposed to be covering outside, but some of the agents was talking about, man, it's hot out there. I want to come in here and get some AC. This is where the Kool-Aid is. This is where the lemonade and the iced tea is. I want to come in here with y'all. Y'all got freezy pops up in here. That's why I want. Y'all got pickles too? Oh, man, I ain't going back outside. I'm not going on that roof. It's hot on that roof. And the way that they were trained was through a webinar, a Zoom call. They were trained on a damn Zoom call. This was their training. Now get out there and protect Trump. Protect him with the best of your abilities. Get out there and cover him with all your skills that we just now gave you through Zoom. Are you out your cotton picking mind, bro? So you damn right you got people like Chris Cuomo who's, he's still trying to establish himself. He's still trying to get his footing back out there because his name has been run through the mud a few times. We get it. He's been appearing on many different shows. He's building his name back up. So every now and again, you're going to get a Chris Cuomo moment where he's going to want to stand out. So listen, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. We see Chris going off on his friends, saying that, man, what we're talking about, we need to cut that out a little bit and show some decency. Because Trump, if I was him, I wouldn't be doing this. He must love this. He must love you all. Nah, this is the same thing that he did back in the DNC when he pointed out, you see all of those people in here? All of those people are millionaires. They're sitting in $5 million seats, $10 million seats, $20 million seats. Chris Cuomo always tried to grandstand. That's what he does. So again, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Go figure. Follow me.